One Team Media.
We showed you what the GOAT was last year when we beat y'all 50-7.
Let's go! One team!
Relax, big boy.
One team, one podcast. One team, one podcast.
Team One Podcast?
One Team, One Podcast?
Yeah, they did a good job.
Really good job.
Yeah. Why is he so fat?
One team, one podcast. One team, one podcast. One team, one podcast.
Fat.
One team, one podcast.
What's up, guys? One Team, One Podcast, back, episode 84. Is this the most people we've ever had in this room? It is, I believe.
Tie.
Yes.
It's a tie.
It's a tie.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Or actually, maybe it's
we currently have 5 people in the room. Nobody move a muscle. You're going to knock something over. One Team, One Podcast. This is our college football preview show. And we have brought in a special guest for this show. He's done a lot of research for the show. He texted me earlier today. He was just like, look, what are we going to cover? Because I want to get all my T's crossed, all that kind of stuff. Zach Von Rosenberg, former LSU punter. How's it feel to be called the former LSU punter?
Ooh, I don't know if I like that title already. It's not going over well. I haven't been called that yet, but I guess that's because we haven't had a game. But no, it's strange. It's I mean, a spectator this next season. That's crazy.
Well, okay, so is this the first season? All right, this is even more bigger than I thought. Which was, this is the first season you haven't played sports in how long?
I mean, fingers crossed. Hopefully that changes in the
Yes,
next week.
absolutely.
But no, yeah. If it doesn't happen, if nothing happens the next, I don't get a phone call. Yeah, it will be the first time I will not be playing a athletic sport. In the last, so since 2009, it'll be the first time. I mean, I don't consider LSU professional level, but it's close enough.
I mean, they're paying them.
So since 2009, it will be the first time I haven't been playing at almost a professional level. So that's a good run.
Wow.
It's like 12 years. So I've been blessed. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, and so the plans are right now we're waiting for teams to give you a call, right, for tryouts and things like that.
Right, and it's going to be a weird year with COVID. There's so many unknowns. Guys getting vaccinated, not getting vaccinated. I don't have really an opinion on it because I don't know. I just know that it's not FDA approved. That's it, right? But
I don't have an opinion. Right?
But no. For the record, I'm vaccinated. But
I'm so glad you put that on the record.
No opinion though.
We should have came in here with masks. We talked about it. Oh, you have your mask on?
I meant to wear the mask at the beginning, and
well,
I had a whole bit.
We were all going to be masked, and you weren't going to be masked.
Yeah.
They'll say the room doesn't justify the 6 feet.
No,
it's not enough.
I don't think you can be 6 feet apart of somebody in this room.
Probably not.
There's no 6 feet. No.
So so there might be a COVID roster type of situation. Is that right?
So I would imagine they extend the rosters again, like they did last year. Allow more guys on practice squad, or I'm not sure how it's going to work, but guys getting COVID, similar to how Major League Baseball is. When guys go down, they allow them to fill the spot immediately.
Right. You need to have a minor league system at that point if you're going to do it, right?
And so a lot of teams will be carrying extra punters, extra kickers, because you're not going to go into a game without a snapper or kicker, punter, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of unknowns. I'm just staying in shape. I'm doing what I can do on my end to stay in shape, and I'm at LSU 5 days a week. And but I'll be ready for that phone call when it comes. And like I said, I'm ready. And I know I will get a phone call. When I get that phone call, I'm gonna have to beat out somebody. It's just that simple.
Is there any sort of quarantine process this year? I know they had that last year.
If you're vaccinated, I do not believe so.
Gotcha.
Right.
Cool.
That's
okay. the only people that can test vaccinated players is the Olympics, apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe that's the case.
Right. Dude, poor John Rahm. We haven't talked about that yet.
Dude, that was
Poor
brutal.
guy.
Yeah.
So he tests positive.
3 weeks later.
Yeah, and he got vaccinated. I think I read he got vaccinated 3 times.
No way.
I swear to God. It wasn't just partial shots. It was he literally went through the vaccination
so he got
process
6 shots.
multiple times. So he would not
Holy
get the
shit.
virus again. Yeah, because it cost him $2 million the first time and winning.
And now a gold medal.
Yeah, and now a gold medal. Yeah, he got He got ousted. Didn't even
Who even won the golf?
Xander Schauffele.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Nice.
Xander Schauffele balled out, so don't put him down like he can't compete with John Rahm. I mean,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
That's true.
disrespectful.
He may have won anyway.
That's
Schauffele-
disrespectful.
Schauffele crumbles
Sir.
under pressure. If Rom's in the picture, he's hitting into
Okay.
the water. That's what he does.
All right. Let's get to our sponsors. Bank of England Mortgage. All audio podcasts for One Team One Podcast is brought to you by Bank of England Mortgage. Patrick Michelson's doing a fantastic job over there, so give him a call if you can. Also, River City's, I almost said it again. River City's total maintenance. I almost did 1 hour. Oh, Lucas would have called
You're
me.
gonna get in trouble.
He would.
Why did you
literally
say
call me
it?
right now.
Why did you say it? You stopped yourself. Did you say it
Yeah,
anyway?
I said it anyway. I know. Everybody knows what I did. Everybody knows the mistake. River City's total maintenance. Lucas Ragusa. That's in the North Shore and New Orleans area. So you guys reached out to Lucas. He is really good people. And then last but not least, on the first segment, we got Fred's in Tigerland. The house caught on fire.
Fantastic. Did you see the
Fred
video?
only did it. I'm just kidding.
Did you? Seriously, did y'all see
Mark,
that video?
I'm kidding. It's a joke. I saw the video footage of the little kid lighting
The
it up. I'm kidding.
Oh yes.
It was,
So
it was a little kid doing it.
yeah, LSU Barstool.
God.
That's Jack over there. He had posted it too on
Right.
the LSU Barstool account. Wait, he was just lighting it on fire?
Yeah.
He was playing around with a
he was-
lighter.
yeah.
And
I
it
saw
just-
I saw a picture.
And he
of it.
tried to put out the fire with a fucking cardboard box.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's great. That's actually really funny. But Fred's in Tigerland. Reach out to those guys. Go get you a screwdriver. And it's Zach Von Rosenberg approved. I can guarantee you that. So going into the first segment, the biggest news, of course, this week so far is Myles Brennan with the injury. Left arm injury, his humerus. So that's like right above your elbow, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think
funny bone.
We're gonna go
Sure.
with it.
The funny bone.
Humerus is isn't that just from here to here? That's what that is, right?
I don't know.
This isn't a medical podcast.
I don't know. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. To the humerus.
I didn't want to take anatomy at LSU. So.
Yeah, no, I didn't. So I was doing, I did one biology course, and they told me, okay, for my major, I was gonna have to do a second biology course, and I said, well, I'm changing majors.
Right.
It's the end of the story.
Right.
So anyway, so yeah, Myles breaks his arm. A lot of speculation on what happened, all this stuff, blah blah blah. It really doesn't matter, but such a tough break for Myles Brennan. The quarterback race, and I know you're in. We were just talking about that, or you're there 5 days a week training and doing all that. Have you even noticed since this injury, like if there's a difference with the team at all, and like is there any kind of I know I'm sure people are trying to rally around Max Johnson as much as possible right now too, but what are you kind of gauging off of the injury this close to it?
I wouldn't say there's a change in terms of the players on the team, but in words of Coach O, not trying to be a figurehead here, but he's going to say, next man up. That's his big MO, and we have a freshman quarterback that's battle tested. But yes, for Myles, it is unfortunate, and it just sucks that it was a it was off the field injury.
Right.
But, I'm going to be the first to tell you got to live your life, and anytime you get away, you're taking a risk. I mean, there's guys. I mean, remember Aaron Boone tore his ACL playing basketball with his son.
Yep.
And how are those types of freak accidents preventable?
Oh, but it's his son.
Yeah.
He's a father figure.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and with Myles, it's just unlucky. And
Yep.
and at the same time, I think he'll bounce back. He's as resilient as they come. He's been here. He's been there as long as I have, pretty much. And but he'll come back stronger. And I hope he's able to stay in an LSU uniform.
Mhm.
But I mean, I would imagine the season will start with Max Johnson at quarterback.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
At this point, we right before we came on here, I didn't tell you this, but we saw a Twitter post. I think it was Christian Garrick out of New Orleans. He had posted. He had a interview with Owen Brennan, and said that's Myles Brennan's father. That is there a chance that he would transfer? And I don't know if this was just based on early thoughts or whatever, and everything can change obviously. But Owen Brennan said, not a chance he's going to transfer. He's a Tiger. So 0% chance is what he said. So
Yeah.
take that for what it's worth. Everybody that's kind of worried about the quarterback depth chart, that kind of thing. There's a lot to talk about on that, and we will as far as the quarterback room. But the Myles Brennan story at LSU, I mean, he has got to be feeling it so hard. And that was one of the things that we took exception to on Twitter this week was people that were talking shit about Myles Brennan.
Right.
And like, I just couldn't. We've been ones that
We've
were
been
saying,
Max Johnson guys the whole
we were
time.
like, hey, Max Johnson's going to start. Max
Right.
Johnson's going to start. And we're not against Myles Brennan, but we're just saying Max Johnson was going to start. The people that were just like, let's go, things like that,
Right,
like
that's
almost
too far.
excited. Like, I lost my shit.
Yeah, that's not cool.
You need to look yourself in the mirror if you're rooting for somebody's injury. And on top of that, why can't you let the guys play it out at camp? I mean, you have evaluators at the highest level evaluating these two players.
Right.
And why wouldn't you want the two healthy players competing against one another?
Making each other better.
Exactly.
Yes,
why wouldn't you want that? Because you're going to get the best product on the field out of that. So why would you be rooting for one of them to get hurt? It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
And what they'll say to that, and this isn't my opinion, but what they would say is, well, I didn't necessarily trust Coach O to make the right decision.
We've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard people say that plenty of times. And that's just like they'll say like seniority, that he'll just pick the guy who stuck around for 4 years just because he stuck around for 4 years.
We early on, I think we were both agreement with Charles Handegriff actually brought this up, and I agreed with him on this earlier, which was that you could see Myles Brennan starting against UCLA, if not playing a good bit, and then you're going to see Max Johnson, obviously, and then it was just going to dwindle out, and it was more of managing the roster situation as well. Max Johnson may have been your number one guy, but Brennan was going to play. That way we could make sure that we were going to have a good depth chart.
Yeah, I never really saw that as a possibility, if I'm being honest. Well, actually, I shouldn't say I never saw it because I agreed with it at the time, but then as time went on, I just didn't.
I thought the best guy was just going to play, period.
That's kind of what I started thinking as time went on. That's just kind of the vibe I got from Coach O, at least. But I mean, I think
I got the whole time that it was Max Johnson. So
right. That's what we were
it's
hearing.
still no slight against Myles, but it's like
for sure.
I agree with that completely. Where if you had Myles and Max in the same reps and all that kind of stuff over and over and over, it's only going to make Max even better.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why people were so gung ho about. I don't know. It was bad.
It's a depth issue too.
And it was a handful of LSU fans. But
yeah.
I almost tagged them on a post, and I was like, bro, I don't know if the
I'm very glad.
We were going to start a whole bunch of
that's a
Twitter drama.
That's a shitstorm.
Twitter drama, yes. And he's the calming influence on me, which is crazy.
Yeah,
so I'm the old guy.
Zach, I do have a question for you with the Myles injury, and obviously you said he's been at LSU about the same time you have. So he was there with Brady, and now you got these changes. Talk about what you see Myles' role as now an injured quarterback with experience and the leadership that he's going to show.
Well, he's definitely going to take on the role of being a coach, right? Because he's been there long enough. I mean, he's had 3 offensive coordinators, right?
Yeah.
In his time. So he's going to fill that role more so now. And on top of that, he's going to, as much as he can better himself because this is an 8-week injury. And I assume he's going to put him position himself as best he can to be in a position to be ready, number 2 quarterback as soon as he comes back. I mean, it's going to take a little while. He's got rehab and stuff. But no, he's going to take on that coaching role for sure. And we'll find out how, he may have a bigger role in terms of, film study and other things coaching wise than he has before in the past. And he definitely helped last year. And obviously being that we had a young team, a lot of guys opting out, it was more difficult to put a product on the field that would be the caliber of 2019. But I think this year will be a lot different than aspect with older players.
And the culture in today's college football with if I'm not playing, if I'm not starting, I'm leaving, I'm not going to be here. But I think Brennan has a sense that he's at LSU. He has everything in front of him. If you just work hard and succeed at your role at the specific school, then you can benefit. I think everybody's trying to get me. It's
Right.
about the team, you
Yeah.
know. And Brennan's committed to LSU, and I think he showed that.
Well, and I
you
think
know?
there's a love for LSU there too. Right?
Exactly.
Like,
He definitely is passionate about LSU, and I don't see him. He's not going to dip on those guys. He's
Right.
been around them forever, and he's not that guy. He's not going to just say, "All right, I'm in there in the transfer portal." That's not going to happen.
right.
No, I mean it is unfortunate, but I think he, like I said, I'm curious. I haven't talked to him.
You
Really
haven't? Okay.
Since the injury, no. It'll be interesting to see what happens with how his role fills and with Max Johnson.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to the next thing, which was kind of like the quarterback room going forward, which is, I mean, obviously Max is going to be the guy. And I think we've said this a few times on Max Johnson. Go ahead.
Question: do you guys miss TJ Finley?
Yeah.
War Eagle.
Yeah,
yeah.
I do.
It would be nice to have him in the room right now.
Yeah,
for
it would be
sure.
great to have him for depth purposes, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm
Now
wondering.
Max is going to win the job.
Does TJ Finley
Right.
regret leaving?
Also, the same.
That's a great question.
Going back to the kind of the Brennan situation, you know, if he stays and guts it out, if TJ Finley that is stays and guts it out, then he's got a position to play again. You know, and like you said, does he regret it? He left. He
Right,
quit on
yeah.
his team this whole year. Like, you know, play a year transfer.
And then
You
the guy
had your
gets hurt.
opportunity. I mean, he has one at Auburn too, sure. But
Yeah, and I thought the reason why he was transferring to begin with is because he knew he wasn't better than Max or Brennan
sure.
in the room, and that's completely understandable.
But it's a
Yeah.
me. It's a me thing, not a we thing. So y'all miss TJ Finley. Yeah.
Auburn fan over
Yeah.
here. Auburn fan over here.
Where's
by
my
the way.
cup?
So okay, but about the whole QB room, let's say Max Johnson starts a year, and obviously he's going to start, just and barring something crazy. Let's say he starts the year and he's just really, really good, and that's what I think.
Max, right, yeah.
And that's what I think is going to happen. He's going to start the year and he's going to be really good because I think he's a really good quarterback. Where does Myles Brennan go from there? Because I would think, you know, if Max Johnson just locks the job up. You got Walker Howard coming in next year. Garrett Nussmeier is a really good player. Where does Myles Brennan get on the field? What scenario does he get on the field? You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm thinking is he can turn this into, he takes a medical redshirt this year, transfers after this year. And this is assuming Max Johnson plays really, really well this year.
Right, sure.
He could transfer at the end of this year and then have 2 years left as a grad transfer, can be immediately eligible.
If he took a medical red shirt this
Right.
year. Yeah. And so
in a way, this could end up working out well for him.
Yeah. And
obviously, like, it sucks that he got injured, but
we're like 5 months.
Right.
in the
Yeah.
future,
No, like, I'm
obviously,
thinking way ahead. Right,
yeah.
for sure.
Like, so he could be
That's what we
ready
do.
to play like November.
Right. That's what we heard. Right.
And so, like, say he plays a couple of games, even as a backup, I think it still would count as a redshirt rule anyway. Well, he's already redshirted.
He wouldn't be able to take a medical redshirt.
He would have, you'd have to apply for
or maybe
one,
he could. Sometimes
really
they'll give
know
medical
that.
redshirts, like if you get injured.
Yeah,
Y'all
you
are so
only
far.
play.
No, stop it. We're not doing this. Stop it.
Yeah, I know.
Stop
We're getting out
Well,
of
I'm just
control.
trying to think
Stop
about
it.
how he could, you know, turn this into a good thing for him if Max just like completely locks up the job. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, I think Myles would wait. I mean, obviously, we're talking if Max throws for 30 touchdowns, 10 INTs, rushes for another 10 touchdowns, has almost 1,000 yards rushing. If he locks up the job, then I could see Myles go and take an SMU job and, you know, air raid 5,000-yard passing season, or
and
Oklahoma
that's
State.
right up his alley.
Why not?
Yeah, 100%.
Or, you know,
And-
go to Mike Leach. I think he'd be
Yeah,
awesome at
oh,
Mississippi State.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
Mississippi State. would be
Why'd you
great.
even say
Yeah,
that?
don't say that. Don't say that too loud.
Seriously.
They
Okay,
didn't play LSU
I was
2
talking
years in a row.
about with someone. I was talking about Myles Brennan transferring. I was like, I just fucking hope he leaves the SEC. I do not want to play that against that
I
guy.
didn't even think about Mississippi State.
Either one of the Mississippi
He'd
schools.
start right now from Mississippi State,
Bro, he would.
Yeah, he would.
even with a
No
broken
doubt.
left arm. All right, so you talked about Max
Archie
Johnson
Manning.
just a second ago with the touchdowns and rushing touchdowns and rushing yardage. And I think that's the biggest question right now is in the quarterback room, you got Max Johnson, you have Garrett Nussmeier, and then you have 2 walk-ons. And one of the things that was brought up today was about play calling being an issue with like Pete's coming in, wanting to do a lot of RPOs. Will he dial that down a bit because he knows Garrett Nussmeyer's his backup and maybe not a Myles Brennan or vice versa or whatever you want to call it. And him reverting back a little bit on the offensive playbook. What do you think about that? Because I have my own opinions on it, and I want to hear about yours.
After going 5-5 last year and having a down year after a national championship, there's no way we're going to be guarded in a playbook. There's no way. We're going to come out guns blazing. We're going to try and put up 50 points every single game.
I actually thought you were about to go the opposite way and say after a 5-5 year where after your quarterback got hurt and you had 3 different quarterbacks play. I thought that's where you were going with that. I agree with what you said.
I thought you were
going to
go 2018 and talk about 2018 and how Myles Brennan may have been hurt a little bit during 2018, and that Joe Burrow had to dial that back a little bit.
Did they though? Because he ran more. He had more design runs in 2018. I felt like than he did in 2019.
Later in the season, if I remember right.
No.
So there was a period. Maybe I'm wrong.
Remember like the Georgia game? He had that 60-yard runs against them. He had we posted a video the other day of him scoring that.
And so that's kind of the question now. Is like, are you going to call out RPOs to where Max is running like 10 to 15 times a game? You know, are you going to dial that back a little bit?
It's going to open up the rest of the offense, in my opinion. And
I agree.
I think Max, he's a big guy, and I think he's going to be able to take a hit. And I'm not so much worried about him. And when he needs to get down and slide, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have that Joe Burrow mentality. When Joe ran, he knew, in college he didn't, but now he understands that he needs to get down. But
he understands more than ever.
Yeah. But I wouldn't. I don't think they will. But I wouldn't change the offensive plan. We're going to try.
I agree.
In every game. I'm telling you, we're going to try and score 50 points every game.
I'm with you 100%. And I was more thinking of, okay, when I saw Max running more than anything last year, it was because he was scrambling out of the pocket, getting like a 5-yard gain.
Right, and I think that's still what he's going to do this year.
I agree.
I don't think it's going to be a lot of design QB runs.
I agree with that. And I think you have to do the RPO as part of the game plan, of course, but that doesn't mean the quarterback's running the ball.
Yeah, the quarterback doesn't run on every RPO. He usually doesn't run on RPO.
Unless you're Taysom.
Right. I would say we're not worried about running down the clock and time, eating up 8-minute drives. So it's not going to
score.
We're scoring 100%.
Score
100%.
Right, and that was the difference between 2018 and 2019, if I remember right, which is just that we couldn't grasp as a fan base that we were able to score that much and score that often. And our defense was basically just going to have to get a couple of stops to win the game, and that was a complete different dichotomy than LSU fans ever had seen, especially under Les Miles. Okay, so
in 2020, you guys decided not to score. Oh wait, we buried 2020. My bad. My bad.
He was on the 2020 team, Sam.
It's August.
It's fresh. It's still fresh.
It is August. We're over it.
Oh, yeah, man. We buried it. I can't talk about it anymore. I love talking about it just because it's just easy.
We were talking about cussing before
really
we got on
Thank
here.
You.
Our post-game 2020 shows never cuss as much as we ever. That was the most we ever cussed. The Auburn 2020, I think was that the most? Or was that like the one where we were just like, okay.
It would have been Missouri, but you remember your house. You had the hurricane go on.
Oh, yeah, we had the hurricane.
So we had to do it remote, and it was just a very watered-down episode.
Would you like to – yeah.
I would say 2020 was such a bad time after 2019 because every time you went to a rival stadium, you knew that they were just like they couldn't wait to play LSU.
Oh, yeah.
It was, we cooked them the year before. I mean, we didn't. Auburn was really the only team we beat 23-20, and that was just because of their defensive line.
Yeah,
and everybody else, we pretty much throttled them.
And
embarrassed most of the teams on our schedule. So when you showed up, it's like, all right, where's Joe Burrow now? Like,
That's right.
Where's Justin Jefferson? Where's Jamar Chase? All your guys are gone. What who's gonna?
Well, they didn't say that to you.
No, obviously not. But you got the sense that the coaches had a little bit of an edge in every game, and they knew that they were going to try and run up the score, especially Auburn.
You're the target, I mean, obviously you lived it.
Yeah. And then it was kind of a helpless feeling at certain times because it's just like, man, we're just not hitting on all cylinders. We got guys that are just younger and they aren't 3 years in. Guys at Auburn are running so fluidly with their offense and defense, and it looks so easy. And we're still, with younger guys, we're still trying to figure things out.
We tried to run a wheel route, and that's they guarded it.
Yeah, right. And now now we have those guys don't have that excuse anymore. There's no more growing pains. It's performed now. Sophomores, juniors, you're most of them are upperclassmen. And we got an older team. I mean, Max is a sophomore, but he's battle tested. So it'll be a completely different dynamic this year.
So you say battle tested?
He's a COVID freshman, actually.
COVID freshman.
Oh, so he could technically be a
fifth year.
He could be okay. So he could be a freshman this year if he chose to be.
No, he is a freshman this year. He's a COVID freshman.
He's a COVID freshman. Is that really how they're going to say it? I'm so confused.
We have Jere Jenkins, for example, is a COVID redshirt freshman. He's a third-year guy, still technically a freshman.
He's like, oh yeah, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, no, he's still got 4 years left.
I was texting with Jere Jenkins earlier.
So, were you really? Yeah.
All right, so we were just talking about. He just threw me off.
Yeah, no.
We were just talking about.
He did.
No, he did.
Yeah.
He always does it.
He's not going to blame anything on you today.
And I'm so old, I can't remember what I was even thinking about. But
how about relief pools?
Relief pools, great segue. So relief pools, Ben Landry, check out relief pools. He is busy as all get out. He's got like 12 pools that he's working on in the pipeline right now, and he's going to try to keep that going. And there's he was explaining to me the other day, there's no off season for building pools right now, so they're just like going crazy. So give Ben a call, get in the schedule, let him come over and take a look at it. What are we doing?
I mean, you want me to just say it?
Yes.
Hey, he's out of beverage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and we have some more over there.
No, he's got the peach. You got the peach tea.
Oh, I got the peach tea over here with the ice. Yeah.
Sorry, come on.
All right.
I know the feeling, dude. I went thirsty the first time I was here. It's bullshit.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. So after relief pools, we have Courtesy Buick GMC, Courtesy Automotive Group. Call Brandon Lejean over in Lafayette. He will hook you up. And also follow Brandon on Facebook. He has got used car deals all the time. And all the time, he'll also get like a Denali that rolls into the dealership 2021 it's not pre-sold. And that's like the biggest deal ever right now. So follow him on Facebook. And then you'll be able to see all of his deals as well.
I drove past Courtesy Automotive last weekend.
Like down, it's right down the.
It's on Johnston, right?
Yeah,
and it's actually really close to where Sarah lives.
Well, they have multiple dealerships. Like they're
I know.
They're one of the largest dealerships in the country.
I swear to God, I see Courtesy at like every turn in Lafayette. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. There's a Ford, there's a Buick GMC, there's all kinds
they're
of stuff.
huge.
I
never realized how big those dealerships are. It's like one of the biggest I've seen.
They've been our sponsor for a year and a half.
Yeah, they were
and you just
OG
now
for sure.
drove by, you were like, holy shit.
No. So I drove by one of them, and I kept driving by one of them just like every time I would go because it was how I got to her apartment.
Makes sense.
And this time I drove by like the main one, and I was like, "Holy shit! That's the one." Okay,
yeah, right,
like
right. You don't know it until you see. Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. So we want to talk about today. Not only was going to be LSU, but also SEC division predictions for the year. So we said this was a college football preview as well. So is there anything that y'all would want to say? Like
outside the SEC?
Yeah, like major landscape going into the season. I know we had put out our top 25, which Alabama was number 1. Anything other than that you were thinking about?
I mean, no.
I know. I'm more interested in just the SEC dynamic and all that as well.
Big Ten up for grabs.
Completely.
I'm thinking Ohio State down year.
Who's Ohio State's quarterback?
I don't know. I've heard it, but I don't remember. So my bad.
I thought that was a little bit of sarcasm. Maybe not.
No, I think down year for Ohio State. I think
who it is. Like the name. No, I don't know who it is either.
I think Indiana's coming up. I think Northwestern's on the
Do they
up.
still have Penix?
Again, dude, don't know. But Indiana's returning a bunch.
He has a funny name.
I don't know. I'm feeling a little funky about Ohio State this year. Just putting that out there. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't know.
Well, and the other big names are Oklahoma, obviously, right? With Spencer Rattler.
Same old team. They're going to lose one random ass game. You know,
Rattler
I don't know.
Games.
Honestly, this could be a year where I see Oklahoma going undefeated, like similar to what was that 2017? That team that they had with Baker Mayfield. They just got so hot after that. Who'd they lose to? Iowa State.
Yeah,
at the beginning,
and then
they
lost
to
to Kansas.
in the
No, I'm talking about this in 2020. They lost to Iowa State, and then they just
right.
literally ran the
They
table.
lost to Kansas State, didn't they?
Yeah, that was the first game they lost. Then they lost to Iowa State.
They lost to Iowa State as well.
And then that was like week 3 that they lost to them. And then they
Iowa
ran the
State-
table.
Talk about that kind of year that they had. They lost to ULL, and then they beat Oklahoma.
Yeah, like the next week, I think, or 2 weeks later.
And that brings me a little bit to Texas, because Texas is a hot topic right now here with SEC. But Texas
they got
plays.
Sarkisian.
They have to play ULL and they have to play Arkansas back-to-back weeks.
And I guess this is where I'll take my stand because Sarkisian leaving Alabama, going to Texas. I think Texas is going to be a completely different team, and they'll enjoy their first 2 seasons before the 2020, or is it 3 seasons before they join the SEC? Is it 2?
I think that's still up in the air.
It's up in the air.
It's
Regardless, I
year.
think
that's my hot take.
That's
it's gonna be next year.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking as well. Was this whole ESPN deal will get wrapped up, and that's the only thing that's holding it back
right now. I love it.
So we'll call it 1 year, and Texas will enjoy its last hayride of going either 11-1 or something like. They're going to have a breakout year because they finally are going to put it in place.
And then this is it.
And this is it. And then they're going to go to the SEC West.
I actually
and get crushed every year.
I love that because they had 3
Orange
losses. They had 3 losses last year. They were a good team last year, quote unquote. And they lost to like Oklahoma and like by 4 and like 3 close losses.
It was like
and now they got
too.
Sark. They're going to score points like you talked about, and then they're going to think there's something, and then
they're probably going to get creamed in either the playoff or whatever bowl game they go to. They're probably going to lose by 24 points.
Right, and I don't even know who their quarterback is this year.
Me neither.
I don't either.
I mean, going from Ellinger to whoever the next person is.
Myles Brennan.
Okay, here we go.
State, SMU,
he can play right now.
Sources
right?
say.
Anywhere. We're gonna start a Twitter rumor in here.
Okay. But I wanted to maybe not go so in depth with the entire college football landscape, but mostly SEC
because they just have shitty takes. We have good takes. Ohio State down, Texas up, and then hard down. You guys don't have takes. Yeah, sorry. That's fine. No, we'll go to it.
Just because I know Sark's they're going to put points on the board.
Exactly.
They're going to score.
But
I did love that hire.
I did too. Absolutely, I did. I just think they need another recruiting class to come in. Wait, who am I missing? Oh, well, I thought TJ Finley was going to transfer to Texas. We thought he was going to go over to Sark.
Was that the rumor?
And I was like, yes, before the Auburn thing. And I was like, oh my God.
Well, if he didn't go there, then maybe that means that Texas has a good quarter or
somebody
better than Bo Nix, apparently.
Ugh, anybody's better than that.
That's fine. Talk your shit. We're putting the pads on pretty soon.
We're going to talk about that in a second. All right.
Let's
so SEC division predictions. This is what I put together earlier. And I think me and you, Jack, have talked about this quite a bit to where we're pretty.
You got Ole Miss over A&M, huh?
I do.
You're gonna have to dive into that.
Yes,
just
I'm not. And if anybody knows me, I hate Ole Miss, A&M. So hate them.
You don't like Ole Miss.
I don't like Ole Miss either, but I hate Texas A&M. And this goes back to the 80s, man. This isn't just like some like new
back when we played
thing.
them in the opener every year.
Yeah, this is like Sammy Martin.
They were
86.
They were kind of beating the shit out of us, right?
88.
Were you playing
86,
then, Zach?
I would say if you flip flop, Texas
that was
A&M,
when he was playing for the Pirates.
And I know I have beef with A&M, obviously for stretching in their end zone. But
that pissed me off so bad. I was there.
A&M and Ole Miss, I like the list in the West. And that game that's going to matter. I'm not sure. Is it November 7th that Alabama LSU played? That game will decide the West this year because I think both teams will be 11-1. That's my. I said that on.
You think both teams are 11-1?
11-1.
So you think Alabama?
So either Alabama loses to Alabama has like some weird loss to like Ole Miss because Ole Miss scored 60 points on them last year and beats LSU, or vice versa. LSU beats Alabama. And then LSU has a slip up along the way. But something along those lines is going to happen. And the only other team that's going to be one-loss team is going to be Georgia in the SEC.
Yeah.
You think Georgia one loss?
One loss. They're going to either lose to Florida. I forgot who they're in.
They start with Clemson.
Oh, that's right.
They have Clemson.
It's either going to be Florida or Clemson.
First game of the season.
Yeah, that's
Georgia
right.
Clemson, man.
We
that's
haven't
what it
talked
was.
about that.
I have
That's the only reason why I
got to be the best opening game of the season.
That's why I gave Georgia a loss because they played Clemson and Florida. I was like, they're going to lose one of them.
One of them.
Yeah. Talk about Florida for a second, too. Because I am I just don't think Florida's going to have a good year.
There's a lot of people that don't have Florida as the second best in the
A
East.
lot of people have like Kentucky.
Well, who are you going to put ahead of them?
Kentucky. There's some people that have Kentucky ahead of Florida.
What was Kentucky's recruiting class this past year? Was it? I hate to say.
I think it's
Well,
top
they never
25.
recruit that
Jared
well.
Jared
Yeah.
Rosenthal.
Yeah.
Tara Rosenthal.
No, I think
So,
it was
yeah,
top
They
25.
recruited him very
Unless
well.
they
They
had
did
a
just
better,
lose Kelvin Joseph.
unless they had a better recruiting class, or at least on par with Florida, then Florida's gonna be 2 in the East, because the
Yeah.
East is. They just can't. The bottom, Tennessee somehow can't figure it out.
That's what
South
I agree
Carolina-
with, was that Florida just has too much talent to go below that.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I'm sure that Florida
Our guy from
Kentucky
Missouri,
game,
though,
I think, is
you
at
know,
Kentucky, which is going to be
I love Missouri's guy,
Bazodcast?
Bedazzled Sack.
bedazzle sack.
Yeah.
Real hot take to put Vandy in last in the East.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Surprising.
I was thinking about Tennessee.
Just because we hate Tennessee.
And I was gonna
Yeah.
shout out One Team Media. We have a One Team account for all these schools
Sure.
now, and I was gonna tag our new Twitter account, the Tennessee One Team, on that if I did it, but I didn't.
I think it would put Tennessee over South Carolina.
So
by
if
the way.
if we keep creating a super conference like we are with Texas, Oklahoma, and if Clemson or whoever else were to join, does Vandy get exterminated
Booted?
from the SEC?
No, you
There's
got
no
it.
way, right?
Missouri first one out, and Vandy stays because of baseball and
GPA.
GPA,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then
Shout out! So you had some inside scoop. You texted me the other day.
I called you.
Sam got some scoop. Yeah,
I mean, I'm
What
hot on the trail.
he's a
man.
networker.
I'm in the right
go
spot.
ahead. Tell us what you heard.
Well, it's the same thing everybody knows now, that that Notre Dame and Clemson are talking to the SEC. Which why wouldn't
This is
you?
before the article came out, by the way, and that's why I sent it to the thread, and I was like, "Sam, does this look familiar?" He said this to me. He was like, "This was something that I heard, and it's coming from Scott Woodward's office, basically."
Wow.
I
Yes.
want Notre Dame
That's-
to join the SEC.
That's a big step.
I want
So-
Notre Dame to join the SEC just
too.
because I don't want them to make the Final Four again to
Yeah.
get throttled by
Well,
somebody.
they'll definitely won't.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right,
saying.
right.
So why? Please join the SEC so you can play I don't know.
Kentucky.
So yeah,
No,
these-
Kentucky. I got it. Kentucky's gone. You kick Missouri and Kentucky out and add the teams. Answering
Or
your question
Missouri-
earlier, they got to
yeah,
go.
yeah.
They're not even good
Uh,
at basketball
I-
anymore.
Oh, come on.
They're not. They're
Come
not.
on now.
That's
They're
one
not.
year.
They're not good.
All right, so
Let's relax over there.
Oh,
easy,
shit.
easy.
Kentucky.
easy.
What did they, brother?
They had
they're-
one bad year. They went to the Elite Eight the year before that.
Fine. So what? Go join the Big East.
So you're saying there's one more team that we would need to
Trash.
get rid
What is
of
Auburn then?
to add
We had a Final Four. It's fine.
Notre
Yeah,
Dame
what'd you
and
do next year?
Clemson. We would have to lead.
Kentucky, Missouri. Kentucky, Missouri.
It's
bye.
not
I think
Kentucky.
It's
I
not
don't think it's
Kentucky.
Kentucky either.
It's not
Actually,
Kentucky.
it's gonna,
No,
They're good enough at
they're
football.
they're an
and
OG. They're not leading.
Missouri makes
right.
the most sense. So I don't honestly. It would be Mizzou leave, and then it would just be additions, and then you'd have
Yeah.
you'd probably break up the East and West. Into
See, I
two
was really
divisions if you get big
thinking
enough.
that you would end up with 4 16-team conferences. I
Yeah.
really thought that you
There's too
would
many teams.
it would divide up that way, and then they would all split from the NCAA.
Dude, and I was already really on board with relegations and just
Yeah,
Going
did you
full
see that?
Premier
You-
League?
yeah. So,
But today, someone explained the whole Premier League concept to me that blew my mind, and I'm just like, this has to happen. Okay, so here's how it would work.
Oh wow.
You have the 64 team league. Actually, so technically you have a 128 team league.
okay.
and
You're
it's
on a
split into-
podcast, by
it's-
the way.
No, I know.
So
Uh,
take it slow. Take it slow.
Yes,
okay,
explain
okay.
it.
I'm sorry, I'm really excited. So you have 128 teams. It's broken into 2 separate leagues.
Right.
Good and bad.
A 64 team
And a
Premier
64.
League team, and then the other one's the Champions League.
The champions.
I want to change that
The
name,
Capital
though,
One
because
Cup.
the second league shouldn't be called the Champions League. That's just my opinion.
Conference USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be the American
The
League,
Legends.
Sure. And so you have in each one you have 4 conferences. You have 4 conferences, and then so you would have like the SEC, and that would be a 16-team conference. And underneath the SEC is a separate like SEC Farm League conference.
Oh my. So who does Myles Brennan play for?
Well, Myles Brennan obviously transfers to a different Premier League team. Follow along, Sam.
Okay, so you
Uh,
have 64 Premier League teams.
Yes. And then so for each conference, you have 2 teams in each of the 16-team conferences that would get relegated,
Okay,
and 2 would move up.
I got
And so the way this could work is instead of just kicking out Kansas and kicking out Vanderbilt,
Kentucky.
you can leave them in the Premier League team, and then they'll just naturally get relegated.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
So Vandy would get relegated, and then
Right.
like Central Florida would bump up. To
Exactly.
the SEC.
Exactly.
So the SEC would keep winning national championships every year.
But yeah,
Yes.
who would
Sure.
sign up for that though? In all honesty, looking at these schools on the list, who would sign up for that? Alabama, LSU, hell, Auburn probably wouldn't sign up for that right now. Into Georgia, Florida, maybe. Yeah, everybody else, but we don't want to do relegation because
Mississippi State would be like, hell yeah, we'll do it.
well, no, they're going to come in last.
Oh, that's
they're going
true.
to come
They
in
won't
last
do
every
it.
time.
They won't do
The
it.
schools that are coming in last aren't going to want to do it. Like
No,
anybody who has
it's
a
fun-
chance.
It's a fun thing to talk.
Yeah, but
about.
they're the minority.
Are they though?
Yes.
Because I mean, look who's the top of the list year in year out. Like Alabama,
Yeah, okay.
LSU.
Alabama through Auburn on here would be for this, I would say.
All right, so
And
They
A&M
lose money.
Okay, look,
It's like
A&M
Vandy, play all these schools or go play Conference USA. They're like, hell no,
Was
we don't want to do
A&M
that.
was
We're not going to
A&M
get paid.
actually for bringing Texas into the league.
Yeah, because the
What
SEC
did they-
is their dad.
What did they vote for? They voted to bring him in.
Yeah, because
That's exactly what would happen with this.
but they're going to lose money. These schools lose money.
Sankey's
when
going
they're-
to say, you better fucking vote for this or I'm just going to
Yeah.
boot you out the league.
But now they have everybody else because all these teams were on board to add Texas, and then A&M's like, okay, yeah, we'll do it, yes sir.
Well, they're trapped. You can't, as Texas A&M, you can't say, "Oh, we don't want Texas in," because then they can forever say you were scared to play. us.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, true.
they were
That's
never gonna vote.
true.
And it's a one man,
and that's why they were like, okay, bullied into a 14-0 vote.
Exactly.
Right.
and it's
Well,
a one man team.
The biggest game. This is like the game of the century coming up. The first SEC game between Texas and Texas A&M is the game of the century because that will delegate. Because Texas A&M was the first university in Texas.
Right.
So if they win that first SEC matchup, the tables have turned
It's gonna be electric.
officially in Texas. You may say, "Oh no, that's not true." Longhorn. No, if Jimbo beats Sark in that first SEC game, the tides will turn in terms of recruiting 100. Because you could say, "Well, they joined the SEC and they still got beat,
Right.
and they can't play with the big boys." Like that's the type of thing that they're
For
going to
sure.
say, and they'll be
For
peddling
sure.
that for an entire year, and that's going to affect recruiting,
Yeah.
and that will be that'll be Jimbo's Super Bowl.
So,
for sure.
all right. Speaking of Texas A&M, even this year, you have them ahead of Ole Miss, and I really like the idea that Ole Miss could just score points, and that they can beat some teams that may be a little bit more offensively challenged, like a Texas A&M. Like I think that Ole Miss could beat Texas A&M straight up because A&M had trouble scoring last year with Kellen Mond.
I think they would have beat them last year if they would have played that game. You remember that one? That was the game that got canceled.
Oh, I didn't even think.
I
about
think they
that.
were going to win that game.
And
but-
Ole Miss will be a perennial fourth place team because they can't play defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
There will be a perennial until they, somehow get the land shark back, or I don't know. They have to
Get some more Kim Deechees or something.
Right.
Yeah.
They will be a perennial fourth place team because you can't rely on your offense to score 45 points every game. If
Absolutely
you're going to give up
not.
40 points, you got it. You're going to run into a game where you just have a bad game. You throw a pick in the third quarter. You throw a pick.
Yeah, and
Or you
I-
throw
it's going to
7
happen.
picks.
It's going to
That's
happen.
and that we're going to get to that in a second with the LSU record predictions because I was going through the schedule and I'm looking at an Ole Miss game and I'm like, how in the hell are we going to lose to this team? If they couldn't beat us last year, I don't know if they could beat us this year. We're going to get to it, Jack.
Yeah,
Don't
okay.
worry about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I got thoughts.
All right, so all right, Alabama. What are your thoughts on Alabama this year?
Trash.
Ole Miss guy chiming in. Bryce Young.
Auburn.
Sorry, Auburn guy chiming in, not an Ole Miss guy. Sorry.
It will be a down year for Bama in terms of how, because obviously they had Jalen Waddle and they were running on all cylinders. They were almost running on the way we were running in 2019.
Yeah.
They were just seemed unstoppable. They were just a force to be reckoned with in the same way that we were the year before. But this year it's going to be a test of how many young guys can step up and replace that. But I still think they'll be good. What's going to come down to, I forget, what's their early game they have? They have an early test.
Miami and Atlanta, I think.
right,
That's
I think it's in
one.
Atlanta.
That's one, and that's going to be because what's that guy? I forgot the coach.
Nate
Miami's coach.
Diaz.
Yes, Diaz.
No,
Diaz.
no,
is,
Nate Diaz is the
Manny
Manny
Diaz.
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 And
Manny,
then-
yeah,
UFC
he's
guy.
right. Manny is fighting for his job. He's on
Sure.
the hot seat for
What's,
sure.
what's
and
their quarterback's name?
Derek King.
De'Aaron King,
Yep.
right?
And the offensive
He's a Heisman
coordinator
candidate.
was he was with Gus Malzahn.
Rhett Lashley.
Rhett Lashley, thanks. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's their early test, and that game will be much like the way this past year we never got into a rhythm in terms of winning football game, and that's how football is. You got to get into a rhythm. Once you're in a rhythm, you keep winning. It's like it's easy. Once you've won 3 games in a row, it's easy to win that 4th game. But when you get on that losing streak, it's hard to to get that momentum going, and that's going to be a key game for Alabama. Is playing Miami and winning that game and having some momentum going in the rest of the season, because they lose that game, they're in trouble. They could be a 3-loss team quickly if they lose to Miami.
And that quarterback style that Jerry King has given them trouble with the Saban defensive.
mobile.
Nick
Yep.
Marshall, Cam, Burrow, Manziel. They give them fits. Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I still
Sure.
think they're going to beat them by a million.
I
hate Alabama.
I don't think they will.
I got Bama by 30.
Yeah, honestly,
The spread's going to say 17.
18 and a half.
There you go. It's going to say that, but
So take them in the first
I'm
half
gonna
for like 11.
I'll say
Sure.
First half Bama is a great bet.
I'll say it's going to be a 1-score game. A 1-score game.
If Miami keeps it a 1-score game in the fourth quarter, that's a win for Miami for sure.
Yeah.
On
I
recruiting,
agree.
say we're building something. Come here, we can compete.
Alabama is not the team that they were last year. They're just not. And granted, they got great players. They got obviously Saban's still there. There's nothing's really changed, but they do have new players, and with new players, you can't say that you're going to win by that. Vegas is right. They know that what's it called, the history of the program, but leading with new players, new guys, all going into a new season, it doesn't mean anything. Every year is different. 100%.
Yeah. So all right, let's stay on this for a second. Let's talk about the East real quick. I know I have Georgia first and then Florida second.
Yeah, Georgia and then the rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has to be that way.
And it I think I have a lot of people that are told me that they think Georgia will be the national champions. J Boy was even saying that before, but
Devin.
Devin says the same thing.
Devin the intern.
Devin the intern.
I've heard enough. They're not winning.
I'm
I'm not taking Georgia to win. If those 2 guys are with it, I'm out. Sorry, boys.
JT. So the thought process is that with JT Daniels,
They're changing
and
the
then
offense.
who's the offensive coordinator at Georgia? God,
Bobo?
No, Bobo.
No, he used to be there.
I know you're talking.
Bobo's
He's at
gone
Auburn.
now.
That's
Yeah,
right,
Bobo's
that's
at
right.
Auburn. God.
Scott Cochran.
Todd Monken.
That is
Monken.
it is Todd Monken.
Yeah,
That's
Todd
true.
Monken.
Sure. Yeah.
He's going to open it up. It's going to be a lot like this is the comparison they keep making, is the 2019 LSU team, where it's going to be from 2018 to 2019 and this huge air raid effect with JT Daniels. And I'm very interested to see.
I'll say the same thing I said going into 2019 LSU.
For LSU.
I'll see I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree with that. At the same time, they got to beat Clemson, and that
Cool,
game
I
has
know.
to be circled on the calendar right now, because that's the
DJ.
game. That's a trouble game. I mean, obviously, Clemson,
Ugalele.
Uyangalele.
'cause
Uyangalele.
Clemson's going to bring it. They're tired of saying it here in
Master
SEC, and then obviously they got beat by us in 2019
Yeah.
or 2020 rather. But
Right.
Clemson's going to come hot to that game, and Georgia better show up. They're
I
going to be in
agree.
trouble.
I agree.
Georgia's known to sleepwalk, aren't they? They'll sleepwalk a big game every once in a while.
Will they?
They shouldn't sleepwalk that one.
No.
Shouldn't.
And I remember the Georgia Clemson game. It was the last
Oh,
one they
Todd
had with
Gurley.
the Todd Gurley
Yeah.
game. But
that was
we
an
just
awesome game.
I know that was a great game.
Uh-huh.
And then there was a couple of great games. There was an Auburn
Between them?
Clemson game.
Yeah, and well, Auburn used to
yeah,
play
yeah.
Clemson
Before that,
and then they
with
started
Cam.
beating our ass, and then we were like, we don't
Cam
really do
didn't-
this anymore.
Cam Newton didn't play against.
We didn't play
Clemson.
Clemson. No, we didn't.
Cam beat
No,
Clemson.
No, we didn't.
I don't think so.
You're making that up.
It was we did a home and home. We lost there, and I'm pretty sure we beat
I'm
them
going to
at
send this
home.
to you.
No, y'all lost to him at home too. Y'all went 0-2. But you know.
Well, I mean, they're on the up and up. Future national champions. What am I supposed to do?
I can't wait.
Hardest, toughest schedule in the SEC.
I
bro.
can't
In
wait.
the world.
He'll still ride in that 2010 national.
Oh,
Oh my
Still
God,
right-
Cam
still riding
Newton's
it.
so good,
I'm gonna text y'all later. The
bro. Cam didn't play Clemson.
Cam Clemson game. Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah.
I will.
What are you talking about, Matt?
Anyway,
It's going to be a clip of like an NCAA football 14.
yeah, I will find something. to send you. Any other thoughts on the rest of the East? So you got Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina, Tennessee. Seems like there's new coaches for every one of these schools, right?
Arkansas is
Oh.
my dark horse. I think Arkansas is
To do what?
Where?
So, like,
I don't
finish
know.
fifth?
Get beat by. They're going to upset some teams. They're going to come in. Arkansas is going to be in the top 4.
Dark horse.
Top 4.
Dark
Wait.
horse to go 3 and
top
5.
4. So where do you have Auburn?
Don't ask me that. I think Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to beat teams that they're not supposed to beat this year. And where's that
Yeah,
put
but you
them right?
said top 4. That's the difference between there's a difference between beating teams you're not supposed to beat and being top 4. Because I don't
Let's
see them
see.
being better than A&M, Alabama,
Yeah, I know.
LSU, and Auburn.
Okay.
Your alma mater.
Okay, they get. I went to UAB. Go Blazers, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Back
sorry.
in 2003, I think we came in here and snatched it.
2001.
One.
2001.
No, 2000.
That was
2000. We beat Tennessee right after.
Yeah. What a shit show.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna walk that back. Arkansas beats A&M, LSU, or Alabama. One of them, A&M. Arkansas beats A&M.
Do you
There's
not
my
see the
take.
name? Do you not see the name of the podcast?
They're
It's
not
one-
going to
one
beat
team,
A&M.
one
No.
podcast.
Yeah,
That's a
Picking
perennial
Bring
like
It, beating
heartbreak
LSU.
loss
Okay.
for them every year, dude.
Mark it down.
It's
Uh,
literally every
And so Mississippi
50-minute
State,
mark, Sam
Mississippi
hot
State
take.
should be a huge talking point, right? Mississippi State last. Do you think that's
they-
a hot take at all?
I mean, you got to pick somebody.
I am not a believer in Mike Leach. That's how much more I'm a believer in Mike Leach than I am of Bo Pelini.
Okay, here's the thing
But-
though. Eventually, Mike Leach is going to have his whatever year it was, 2016 Washington State season. Eventually,
Where all of a sudden, I don't think that just
and he's
happens
gonna like
in the SEC,
you know
though.
where they beat USC on a Friday night, and it was like holy shit. Okay,
Like a once a season win.
yeah. Well, but like they're gonna have like a whole season where it's like they're gonna go 10-3 or
You
something.
just
like
want
that.
Mississippi State to be
I
good.
cannot
know you
see
did.
I
that.
just like Mike Leach.
I just can't see.
I
that
hate
happening.
Mississippi State actually, but
I think that we gave him so much cred.
It's hard to recruit there,
Cred?
so they started to call it Stark Vegas. So
Yes.
that just tells you all you need to know. It's going to be hard to win at Mississippi State. And it has nothing to I've played there numerous times, but it's going to be hard for Mike Leach to win there. And I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's a great coach.
I mean he did it in wherever the hell
hold on,
Washington State is.
If he gets Myles Brennan,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
all right.
Oh, look, I'll become a
let's
Mississippi
not-
State fan. if
that would
happens.
be.
that would be terrible. Because
I think that
I would
would
be like,
that fits.
I would
actually.
immediately text Myles, be like, bro, really?
Come on,
Go
seriously.
to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So I don't have to like root for you at quarterback at Mississippi State and then watch you play LSU. Like,
Yeah,
so
that's fucking
weird.
gross.
That's weird. I don't like
Okay, so let's move along from SEC predictions, and before we get to LSU, we're going to talk about Bear Process Safety. Check out Bear Process Safety. Adam Berry's doing some fantastic things over at Bear. Check them out also on their website, bearprocesssafety.com, and Bear PS on Instagram as well. So Adam Berry, fantastic work in the process safety industry. And then bogeys. Tell me, do you have a bogey story?
Recruiting trip, bogey story from when I was a baseball recruit.
From when you were a baseball recruit.
Oh yeah, I want to hear that.
Oh man, I don't know if I want to tell it. No, I went out with a bunch of guys, old school guys. I'm pretty sure Lewis Coleman was out that night.
Okay.
Shoot, this was a long time ago. We're talking 2008.
Oh, well, the statute of limitations is over.
No, God. So I'm not going to go into details, but no, we just had a good time at bogeys. It was like, I was 18 and it was a good time. It was my first real time going out with a bunch of college people, and I had fun. I didn't know I was taking baseball so seriously up until that point that I didn't really, I guess, party a lot or whatever. I didn't know any better because I was so focused on baseball. But
Didn't know
No.
any better to like have like a good time. You mean?
yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
like,
No,
cut
I was instead of the kids going out in summer and going out and partying at barns or whatever, having a good time in good old Zachary, Louisiana. I was focused on baseball, getting
Sure.
better, and that was just that was what I did. I've been
Idiot.
doing that my whole life. I know. I regret it. I regret it. No, I'm just kidding. But no.
All right. So lastly is Bocock Brothers Cigars. Doug Bocock actually sent me a text the other day. he is going to send me some more cigars. We have our cigars right down here at the bottom. I've been smoking one every day. It's that's the Connecticut blends. We have the habaneros in the bar that y'all were all at earlier, and then we have the and y'all take some. Yeah, if y'all want to have some cigars, are you a cigar smoker?
I smoked them after winning national championships.
Okay, so that's big timing right there.
Yeah, hey, KJ Malone told us this, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so KJ's been on the podcast,
and then the cops came and told y'all to break that up, right?
Yep.
That was time. Oh, you got to tell us that story in a bit.
I still am so confused by it. You're getting angry at a bunch of college kids that just won a national championship in a locker room that's about to get renovated, and had to get a supervisor to come in and say, "Dude, worry about yourself, bro. Like, they just won a national championship. They're ripping up the carpet and tearing this whole area tomorrow.
What are you doing?
Tomorrow? What are you doing?"
Right.
So I still don't even know what was happening.
No.
I was celebrating. I saw like the people come in and try to like stop everything, but I was like, stop what? Okay. Like, we just want.
Do you want one? I don't know. What do you
want? Oh yeah, right. Exactly. Hey, I was about to give it back to you.
No.
But no, yeah, that was a confusing situation. I saw it happen, but like, I was such in celebratory mode that I didn't.
All right, how many weird things happened that night?
How much money did Odo give you?
Hey,
I didn't get any money.
Damn.
You heard that, NCAA?
Pat McAfee?
It's legal now.
Yeah. But no, I saw money go. Well, I mean, everybody did. It was on camera, so
Yeah.
I can say that. But
it was fake.
Right.
It was all Monopoly money. Right.
Right. But no, there's a lot of strange things. I mean, Odell there. He was great energy. I mean, obviously at the end, it was
great energy.
He was, because
he was definitely energized.
He was so fired up on the sidelines the whole time. People got so pissed and like, oh, he should have been doing it. But he was having a good time. He was enjoying the game like any fan would.
He had a few old fashions.
If you're an alumni and you're like kind of, if you're too cool and like, he wasn't like that. He's high fiving, going nuts, complimentary, like. Why wouldn't you want that dude on your sidelines? Like, he's bringing such great energy that.
Is he banned?
Apparently,
now?
LSU doesn't want them.
Yeah.
So is it over? No. He's
I think
at the end of this year.
At the end of this year, I think he's back.
Okay,
he's
one more year, and then he's got to come back.
And then he can
COVID red shirt
to play neck again.
He's a COVID red shirt. Yeah, right.
And that goes for any alumni. If Tyrann Mathieu comes back, and like, I mean, it's so stupid. Like, these guys are just having a good time there in the NFL. Like, they don't.
When you're on the Tyrann there?
I think he was. Yeah, he was. He definitely was. I saw him.
Okay.
He had a book sack on. But no, those guys were great. And a lot of LSU fans were like, oh, they shouldn't have been doing this and that. I'm like,
old man take of the week.
I know. They're having a good time just like everybody else was. If you were in New Orleans and you went out after the national championship, you were having fun too, just like they were. They just happened to do it in the public eye because the cameras were on them.
Right.
And but obviously you can't give money to players, and it was
you can now.
You can now. But
wait, could you legally just walk up to a player at the end of the game and just hand him $100?
I think you can.
I think you can now.
That's so awesome.
It's called the $100 handshake.
Yeah.
And you just go ahead and slap them.
It doesn't even have to be a handshake. I mean, you just hand them the money.
Yeah, you can write them a check. So why couldn't you just give them cash? So you can do anything you want now. It's the Wild West.
I love it.
There should be a limit.
We should set up like a booth, like the One Team One Podcast player money booth. And they just walk up to our booth and we'll just give them $5.
Venmo One Team One Podcast, so we can give your favorite player.
No, and it's just crumbled $1 bills.
Oh my god!
And we give $1 bills over and over.
It'll be sponsored by Bogies, and it's just $1 bills we found on the ground at Bogies the night before.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I thought you were going a different direction. I thought you were going to say like Penthouse or
we could do Penthouse.
Y'all saw. Speaking of Penthouse, they just got like a huge like
PPP.
grant.
Yeah.
1.2 million.
More than like a hospital got, right?
Yeah.
Do I remember that right?
That may have been the headline. I don't know if it's actually true.
I think it was like Penthouse got more than Ochsner did.
Wow.
It's like a PPE.
They must be paying some taxes over
I know.
there.
I was like, oh, those girls, they've earned it.
We'll have to go take a visit in a couple months.
Not on the weekday, though.
No.
You don't ever only go there on a weekday. Anyway,
off the rails, man.
We're going crazy.
Wait, I got something to say. We were talking about
Go
Bocock, national championship game. The video of Burrow smoking that cigar on that couch, like in like whatever hallway,
smoking a KJ Malone cigar.
I woke up
Carl Malone.
I woke up and saw that the next morning, and like I kind of wanted to hate this guy. This guy was coming around to LSU because like might as well smash everybody. But that was just so cool. It's like this is the coolest thing I've
Coolest
ever seen.
thing ever,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
And he's just
You know what a cool thing
he's-
is? Zach's got Joe's cell phone number right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to,
We can hook it up.
you want to give him a call.
I'm not calling him right now. He's
The
at
guy's in
training
train-
camp.
yeah, no,
he's
the
at
guy's
training camp.
focused.
Hey, dude,
When's the last time you talked to Joe
Bro,
Burrow?
it's
Um,
7:30. You like he's not working right now.
When around the time I signed with the Vikings was the last time.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it might have been a little after that.
He just said congratulations, or how did it go?
Something along those lines. I can't remember. There was something else that we were talking about too, but oh no, I know what it was. I was talking about Jamar. I was talking about Jamar. Him and Jamar.
Oh,
being
great, yeah.
reunited, and but no, he's pumped up. Obviously,
I'm
'cause
sure
they had
he
such
is.
great chemistry at LSU. And we aren't doing NFL takes, but Jamar's gonna have 1,400 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns. He'll be rookie of the year.
1,410 touchdowns.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
Yep.
So, dude,
Rookie of the year too.
Does that break Jefferson's record?
I think he had 14-11, but only like 6 or 7 touchdowns.
Nice.
okay.
So he had like 14-11.
So yeah, I started delving into Bengals recently and saw obviously Jamar Chase, T. Higgins,
Yeah.
Joe Mixon,
Tyler Boyd.
Puka Williams is on the freaking team.
Sure.
I'm telling you, this guy's
Played
a
at-
different athlete.
played at Kansas.
He's going to be playing wide receiver for Cincinnati, and I
He's-
think it's
They have him
fantastic.
listed at wide receiver.
Yes.
Huh?
They have him in a slot as a slot wide receiver. This guy at Honville was like
Interesting.
the best.
No, I
player.
remember. I was pissed when he couldn't go to LSU.
I couldn't believe we couldn't get him at LSU.
Uh-huh.
He
It was
got- he-
the grades.
it was
wasn't
grades, yeah.
And
Right.
as soon as they protect Joe in Cincinnati, they're going to be the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
and
he's time. That's
you
all he
know,
needs.
we
That's it.
say that, and I think this correlates to LSU, where 2019. I understand our offensive line was good. Was it better because of Joe Burrow and the decisions that he had to make on the field? You stretched everybody wide. We had never done that before in the history of LSU. You got a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting loose on a linebacker across the middle. He's wide open. It's an easy decision to make, and it's quick that you can make it. How does that correlate now where we have an offensive line that everybody's still got some questions about? We just lost our left tackle, but you got a guy like Max Johnson who's got some mobility, but also can make the same reads that Pete's and Brady had kind of set up for that offense to begin with. Does this make your offensive line better? And I think about that with the Bengals. He's got all these weapons. Are they trying to make it easier for him that way, as well as obviously they want to get better offensive linemen?
Right.
And yeah, I would definitely agree. The play calling in 2019 was flawless in almost
Mhm.
every game because, outside the Auburn game, but that was just because there were so many freakish athletes on their
Yeah.
defensive line.
Right.
But the play calling was designed to tire out guys, and in clutch situations, they're already tired and they can't give their best rush effort. And at least that's how I saw it, because by the end of the game, especially third quarter of games, and dudes are gassed, and we have all those quick throws, and also laser 30-yard pass
And a shit ton of plays.
tons of plays. All those three, getting people underestimate, but getting 3-point stance and constantly having, those rapid fire reps will get to you. And that play call really ate up guys on defense in 2019. And but that was due to Joe Brady. And but
Yep.
no, I think Cincinnati can do that to complement their O-line. And that's something we have to implement this year. We have to do better about, with the quick throw, long throw, whatever, screen passes, maybe quarterback scramble, just to get guys
in space.
get that and having guys getting in their 3-point stance and coming off the line as rapidly as possible, because those quick reps will tire you out quick.
What I hated last year was that we
Wait,
Auburn.
we're not doing last year.
No, we're going to talk
We're
a little bit about
burying
last
it.
year.
We buried it.
The Auburn game, you'll love this, Sam, so you should let me talk. The Auburn game was terrible as far as the game plan goes, because we had a guy like TJ Finley with a cannon of an arm throwing quick slants across the middle that were just like a hair off target. It tips up in the air, gets intercepted. I hated these little quick routes that we were doing last year compared to what we did in 2019.
So you just complimented Auburn and shat on their quarterback. That was a pro move.
Yeah, because he's their quarterback
Mhm.
now. Yeah, good luck. No, I actually think TJ Finley's
No,
fantastic.
I love TJ Finley.
I think his arm is fantastic. It was, to me, it was a Jamarcus Russell comparison all the way. Like if he would have stayed here, I think he's got tons of like big time NFL potential.
What were you saying though about the interception stuff?
Yeah, so the no touch on the ball, whatever, and you're putting him in a bad position because of your hot routes that you may have had set up. I think that this Pete's offense is different because it's going to be more like the Joe Brady offense, where you're going to have either a running back on a like a John Emery on a linebacker, or you could have a Jack Besh on a safety or something like that. Which we talked to Jack Besh in person, and what he told us was, and this got us so hyped up, was that he said, in practice, and this is in 7-on-7, they're putting me up against linebackers and safeties, and it's just too easy, is what he said. It's just too
he's
easy.
a freak athlete, so
Guy who's not even a freshman yet, technically.
And I'm like, okay, so this is the guy that's going to come in as our tight end, wide receiver / or whatever role, and he's going to be lined up, and they're going to try to put him on a mismatch. And I just love that type of offense that we're going to be able to create those mismatches where we didn't do that necessarily as much last year, I felt.
Yeah, and a lot of that too, we were making so many late decisions. Jamar kind of opted out a little late, and everything's an excuse, right? But at the same time, when your best players are opting out of games or opting
and
out of
offense wasn't our problem, so I shouldn't delve on that.
Right, but and obviously too, Jamar. If I'm Jamar, I'm opting out too. I'm getting 5th overall pick the next season and going to see Joe Burrow.
Right.
But that all those last minute decisions kind of impacted our ability to figure out who we are. Our identity as a team was kind of disrupted by that.
Do you feel that there was more than just that for Jamar's decision? Like he opted out for other reasons, not just the.
There are, but I won't say that on air. I'm not speculating. But no, I mean.
Nobody's listening. You're good.
You're gonna. You're gonna. I mean, he's gonna be a 5th overall pick and make money either way. So
no, for sure. Yeah. And I don't think anybody blamed him on that decision. Like a guy like Kerry Vincent, I had questions about. Like, why are you opting out for the entire year and not coming back, and to not get drafted? Like that was a problem that I found. Like, what are these guys doing? And it takes me on to it. Well, you
said you were going to say one thing about last year.
No.
You said you were going to say one thing about last year, and here you are.
I thought you were telling
old man take of the week. Oh my god!
I thought it was going to be like even more because my real old man take of the week is why is Javonte Smart and Trenton Watford not coming back,
and it's
to
actually
school.
Your opinion too.
It is really my opinion. Like
it's my opinion too.
You're not getting a guaranteed contract in the NBA. Like you didn't even get drafted. You left early. One of them was a sophomore, and you don't even get drafted. And you've already signed with. I know. We've done this a million. Zach, we've done this a million.
The title
times.
of the episode is College Football Preview.
Yeah, I know.
We'll do basketball next
Tremont
week.
Waters.
He could change sports. Be a wide receiver. He's got like a 36-inch vertical at least, right?
Yeah.
But Shabazz Napier. Like, look at Shabazz Napier.
No, not Shabazz Napier. Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker.
Fine.
He just signed today with the Knicks.
He signed with the Knicks?
He signed with the Knicks. So this is my Tremont Waters comparison. He could have stayed until his senior year, blew up like Kemba Walker, been a first-round pick, and how much more money would he have made in his career by now?
I've never thought about that. Other than
3 million times
than the 50 times you've told me it.
I mean, I came to college late, but I figure a lot of guys that already see the end product and their goal is to play in the NBA or NFL, and you kind of get ahead of yourself a little bit, and you're like, I want to play there, and that's the end goal. But it's hard to say, okay, I'm going to do the day to day. One day, get 1% better every day for the next year, and then you're like, oh god, I got to go to school.
Well, what were you drafted? What were you drafted
in 2009
in the pros?
I was 6th round, but
6th round.
But I was given a 1st-round contract in 2009.
Right. So they gave you the bonus for this. They slotted you for the 1st round.
Right.
Yeah, and at that point, there's really not a decision to make, right?
Right. Yeah. It wasn't much of a decision after that, for sure.
No. So if you were drafted say you were committed to LSU, drafted in the 7th round, or 6th round, and they gave you 6th round money.
Oh, I'd have been LSU.
Absolutely.
100%.
I think that's
And it's different now too because the slotting is more strict, and if you pay over slot, you have to pay like a luxury tax now in baseball.
Right.
It's completely different than
right.
whenever.
I always remember Zach Lee getting drafted in the 7th round, but they slotted him for first round money.
Right.
And it was all because there was a divorce in the Dodgers. The Dodgers owner got a divorce with the wife, and he had to spend all of his money, or it was going to have to go to the wife. And he was like
Nice.
blowing up everybody's slots that year.
Jesus Christ.
So he was like, it doesn't matter what round I'm picking, man.
Wow.
I'm going to spend the money no matter what.
The Dodgers are winning now.
Right, exactly.
They're
So that
winning
was
now.
like 10 years ago.
Right.
Shit. Anyway, it's
Yeah,
funny
we're
story.
talking about 10 years ago, but here in a couple weeks, Matt,
What? Oh yeah, LSU football.
back to the college football preview show.
31.
We're back. We're back.
Yeah.
Full
There we go.
circle.
Thank you, Sam, the producer.
You're welcome.
All right, so LSU 2021 schedule. We have it on the screen. I want to kind of go through our predictions.
Right.
And what we say, you kind of let the cat out of the bag, Zach. But we're going to go through each of our predictions. Not only do I want the record prediction, but I want to know who we lose to, because that's the toughest
I
thing.
don't want to admit that on air.
That is
That
the
is the toughest
toughest
I hate
part of
saying
this.
that.
He always
entire
makes me
thing.
do it too, and I'm like, there's like a couple teams. That
Yeah,
like, we
right.
could lose one of these games. I think we'll lose one.
I'd
of
rather
these.
just say we're going to have one loss, and I don't want to say the team that we lose to.
Well, we have the question mark
Well, then we
games.
know that one.
We got, I think,
Not
Florida's
wrong.
a question mark. I think Alabama's a question mark. And then I would even put A&M as a 3 question marks
Okay,
where
so, well,
LSU might be comparable
Here
on
are
talent.
here are the 4 that I see: Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama, and A&M. Right?
Okay. Go on.
You're
all right.
not going to say McNeese stay with
No, I'm not going to say
Cody as
McNeese.
quarterback?
I'm not going to say the Chippewas of.
He should-
Central
Hey, dude,
Michigan.
Cody Orgeron's
Oh,
got
so
a chip
Cody
on his shoulder.
Orgeron coming in here just throwing for. If that happens, then
It's gonna
I'm
be
gonna
like
text
a-
Durante Jones and say,
like
take your bourbon and shove it up your ass, Durante.
It's gonna. Well, no. Like if that happens, and it's like Coach O's clearly handcuffing Durante Jones.
Yeah,
That,
we'll
that's,
spin it.
yeah.
We'll
Oh,
spin
no,
it
no.
somehow.
Spin
Durante's
zone.
our guy.
No, if that happens, get Ogeron's kid to come to LSU and play quarterback. There you
Yeah.
go.
He only has
we
one
can
more
get him
year
over
left,
here.
right? I thought he only had 1 year. Oh, no, COVID. Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
Oh, who
I
knows?
don't
The
know.
I think he's a COVID
freshman
redshirt
probably
senior.
Still.
Okay.
You at
I
UCLA,
mean, you could have played for 8 years.
Yeah, dude.
It was.
He goes,
I know it was. 31 doesn't sound as good as 30 playing in a season. I mean, I was 30 last year. 31 doesn't sound as crisp as 30. I don't know, just different. But no, I could have come back this year, and that's kind of crazy to think that I could have played a full
yeah.
12 game. I wouldn't have won or gotten the record for most games played. That'd have still been Austin Deculus because he's going to have like 60. But I'd have been close.
Is
I'd
he
have-
really that
He's going
high?
to be at 60
Holy
games
shit.
played. And I think he's gonna break
That's
the start.
just regular season.
Yeah, he's gonna break the starting record too. I think it's gonna be the record's 52 starts, and I think he's gonna break that.
Right, 'cause he played a
did
lot his
not
freshman
think about
year.
that. I didn't think about that.
Wow.
You know how much heat
It's really
that
cool.
Austin Deculus takes?
Yeah. All
Like
the time.
when we talk about offensive line or whatever, when we were going live all the time, we'd always get Austin Deculus stuff in the chat, like
Yeah.
how, oh, he sucks, blah blah
Uh-huh.
blah blah blah. And I was thinking the same thing.
well,
like,
it's funny
he's
because
got so much game experience.
it's funny because there's a lot of LSU fans that talk a lot of shit about him, and there's also opposing fans that talk a lot of shit about him. So I tell this story all the time. I was on the way to the SEC championship game 2019, and I stop in Auburn to get gas, and I pull up, and there's a guy there. He's wearing an Auburn hat, and he sees me. I'm wearing my LSU hat, and he goes, "Hey, you're going to the SEC championship game, huh?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Tell 76 to stop holding." Drives off.
Y'all did. Cheating asses, holding. There were so many
whiz.
missed calls in that game.
Oh,
man.
come on.
I'll
You went to
find the
turn your
UAB.
volume down.
You went to UAB.
Turn
Yeah,
your
really.
volume
Come
down. All right, so all right, so UCLA, what are we thinking here? I'm thinking
Game
We're
City.
gonna beat the brakes off.
20-point game easily. Yeah.
We're gonna beat the brakes off.
I got I think it could be a 2-score
30.
game.
38-17.
That's around what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
Maybe a little higher scoring game, like
I think I was thinking
45 to 24 or something like that.
I think I had like 41-24, 41-27, something like that.
Well, they got that quarterback who's supposed to be pretty fast. He
Right.
got hurt, a little injury prone, but I just think line of scrimmage they can't match.
No,
No,
I don't think so either.
And they're apparently they're touting their offensive line quite a bit.
I've heard that. Yeah.
But that's come on, man.
Um,
It's been against
It's
boys.
a Pac-12.
That's right.
Right.
And SEC defensive line and our defensive line is
It's good.
stacked.
It's good.
All right, so McNeese State, obviously, Central
Okay.
Michigan at Mississippi State, revenge game.
Oh, right, revenge game. I didn't even think about that angle.
Yeah.
You better.
McNeese, we'll put 50 on them, hopefully. And then
Yep.
Central Michigan, probably the same story. Mississippi State's going to be a dogfight a little bit because it's all
Dogfight. See, he's
because
good, big
Dog.
big time pro guy
because
right here.
for some reason the cowbells get to us in what do you call it, Starkville every now and then. I don't know, but no, I think we beat Mississippi State pretty handily. It's just that game you kind of start slow occasionally, and I don't want to start slow. I want to beat them by 30 points, but
Right.
I think we start slow against Mississippi State.
Yeah, also put me down for beating them by 30.
Yeah.
I'm not also.
I
Sign
think
off on
we're
that.
going to crush Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I think Mississippi State had that one game against us where they ran a wheel route with Kyle and Hill and
20 times.
Yeah, and we didn't know what to do about it.
Poor Damone Clark.
Yeah. Speaking of Damone Clark, most improved player this year, no doubt, is going to be Damone Clark.
I would have
I would agree
said
with that too.
Jay Ward.
Jay Ward's another good pick too.
I think Jay Ward was good last year at the end of the season, where Damone Clark was like just beat down. I think most of that season probably didn't show it, but
Yeah.
in the locker room. But
I guess
man,
Jay Ward isn't coming off quite as bad of
put
a year
in
as
the
Damone.
worst positions possible for
Sure.
a player, and flat-footed because he didn't know what he was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. It's just that's a loaded linebacker room.
It
Like,
is absolutely.
kind of. At least.
So DBs too. We
I mean, you
as
got
good
Bucks-
DBs in the country as anybody.
Bug Strong, Mike Jones Jr. Who?
Nice.
And
all
then Quan
Demo-
Alexander. No,
Yeah, and then
no,
Jared Small,
yeah,
my guy.
no. So is it Clark,
We're
Bug
missing
Strong,
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones Jr.
There's-
Baskerville,
Baskerville's still there. Josh White.
Josh White.
They're saying Josh
Young.
White's looking good.
Was he sophomore?
COVID freshman.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
God damn it.
That's gonna be such a
It's
all
so
awful.
ridiculous.
Awful.
I'm just gonna be
COVID.
I'm all over it.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
COVID injury, redshirt senior,
Yeah.
7th year.
Okay.
Well, actually, so if Miles Brennan were to take the
Oh,
medical
God.
red shirt, like I was talking about earlier, he would be a COVID red shirt, medical red shirt senior.
Yeah.
He could. That's
So
That's
a
what he's-
6th year senior.
Yeah,
7th.
with the potential to be
7th
7th. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
that would have been you. You would have been a 7th year.
I was 6. I'd have been 6th.
Well, unless you got hurt this year.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
And then second year, 7th
Could've been
year,
seventh, yeah.
first 7th year senior in college football history.
People would have been asking me to evaluate my life playing
Yeah.
football at 32
Pat
years old.
McAfee would have hated
Hey,
you.
yeah, exactly, for sure. But yeah, Auburn up next. I think we're gonna get away from the game last year. We won't talk about it because it was a throttling. But I think this year we're gonna have a photo finish just like we did with Cole Tracy hitting that field goal or DJ.
You think it'd be
Chark having
close, really?
I think
huh?
it'll be a close game, but I think we're gonna win. It's gonna be it'll be a fun game at home.
Yeah.
in Tiger Stadium for sure.
Always a tough game for Auburn coming to LSU, Baton Rouge, and this is the first one, October 2nd, in what, a year and a half, where Tiger Stadium's
You
rocking
haven't-
2 years.
You haven't. Auburn hadn't won in Baton Rouge since '99, right?
Dang,
Yeah,
Am I right
it's-
about that?
It's been a while.
That is correct.
I feel like it
It's been a
might
long
be
time.
like 90.
No, it's
Like,
99.
No, it's
No,
99.
99 for sure. I was
Yeah.
there.
Give yourself some credit, dude.
Well, we should have won
You
the Kenny.
smoked cigars on the field.
Should have
I
won the
remember
Kenny
that.
Irons game.
Oh,
and
that was a rough
should have
one.
won the Nick Marshall game in 2013. But really, you guys were the beginning of our championship.
You
CD.
should have won the Nick Marshall game.
No, 2013.
We beat the shit out of y'all.
No,
We came
beat-
back at the end. We just needed a few more minutes.
Way late.
We were winning 35 to
Stop.
14.
We're not doing this. Go
Well,
to
man,
Kentucky.
hey,
Go to
you said-
Kentucky.
We
You
showed a Twitter clip
Hey,
Cam
earlier this
Newton
week.
and
Yeah,
Cam Newton
we've
played
had two-
Clemson.
You
Two
picked
clips
to
of
be
that
on
game,
one
actually.
team, one podcast.
Right.
You
That's
made
right.
You made
Wait,
this
you-
decision.
this is your life.
I baited
now.
myself into that. It's
No,
fine.
you did.
Okay,
It's on you.
so at Kentucky, that's always a trick. Going to Kentucky, by the way, LSU is, I don't think, ever played great at Kentucky.
But that has 11 o'clock game written all over
Sure
it.
does,
definitely
Dude, the
does.
11
It
a.m.
definitely
suck.
does.
I mean, I don't like 11 a.m. kicks. Like, how do you feel being a player?
I mean, I don't like it because you feel out of rhythm. 'Cause
Right.
We don't practice at 11 a.m. either. But at the end of the day, they have to play at 11 too. And
Right.
so both teams are out of whack. But yeah, no, it's a strange time. It's
You
a
think second
strange time
quarter
slot-
kind of like
slot.
shake off the cobwebs a little bit,
Um,
or
You-
it's just like weird, just routine wise, I guess. Nobody's used to it.
Nobody's used to it, and it depends on how. If your team's hitting on all cylinders, you like 11 a.m.
Sure.
games. So when Joe was here, we had 11 a.m. game against Vanderbilt.
Y'all
Yeah.
just ready to
We
play.
just destroyed them. Hit 63 points against that.
Defense
Again,
didn't have a good game. Though.
Yeah, defense didn't have a good game, but if you're hitting on all cylinders, you like 11 a.m. games because likely the other team is not going to be playing well.
Defense didn't have a good game, but they had 2
Touchdowns.
defensive touchdowns
Yeah, block
from
punt,
Yeah,
block
but we
punt.
still gave
Baskerville
up
scored.
Bandy.
We still gave
Yeah.
up 24 points to Vanderbilt.
Sure, yes.
Bro, come
We
on.
didn't have as bad.
Yeah,
of a
you're
game as
being
people-
real critical. We scored
Yeah.
63 points.
Yeah, relax.
Oh, I just remember. I just remember that,
That was the
Keyshawn Vaughn
difference.
ran all over us. That's
Right,
just what I
right.
remember.
They did have too many rushing yards, but we scored 60. The point. The,
No,
the,
I-
the game was never going to be a problem.
Okay,
I just remember it
so-
was like the most frustrating beatdown I've ever experienced.
Ole Miss was more frustrating, in my opinion. Later
Oh,
on,
fair.
that
fair.
was more frustrating to me.
Yeah, even though we were really way ahead in that game the entire
right.
time.
And we were just coming off Alabama. I was like, we should just be really happy right now, and we just
Well, actually, that was a
Still just frustrating.
galvanizing game, I think, for LSU
Right.
because the defense really did take that personally after
Yeah.
that.
right.
And
Michael
it
Jordan.
honestly made us better for later games. We played really good defense leading into the playoffs. It was crazy. We
Right.
played really well.
Yeah. All
So
right,
we got 6-0 right now. Auburn a test, and then
6-0
Auburn's on the
with
test.
Florida coming in is like to me
where you
going
want
to
to
be.
be.
That's what you want to be. for
Wait,
sure.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 6-0 with Florida coming in is going to be a like lightning bolt type of game.
And then I think what they play,
It'll probably
either-
be
they have a
night-
big game either the week before. They have a big game. Shoot, I can't remember if it was the week before, or week after. And so they're gonna. It's not gonna be a typical Florida game. They usually have like a gimme win before. I think it's a
Is
big
it
game.
Georgia before?
I can't.
No,
I,
that's
I'm-
not right. They
oh,
always play
all right.
Georgia like last week
Okay,
of
so it's-
October.
So who do they play the week before?
I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, shoot. But no. So I think
Oh,
Florida.
they play Vanderbilt. They got a huge game against
no,
Vanderbilt.
who's the one after? Then okay, who's
It's
the one?
Georgia.
Who's the one? It is
Georgia's
Georgia. Georgia's
next.
okay. So
well, they
that's what it
got
was.
they got bye week, then they have
A
Georgia.
bye
Okay.
week and then
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So
they
okay,
play.
that's
they
what
play
it was.
Alabama week 3.
I had it flip flop.
Yeah,
So
So
they
play
got
Bama week 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
their schedule looks really
Yeah,
nice now that I pull it
that's a
up.
loss.
I mean, Bama early, and then bye week after LSU going into the Georgia game. I mean, that's set up pretty nicely for them. You think? I mean, take the break after LSU.
Right.
Sounds like 9-3 to me.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that to me, we were just talking about that Florida game because there was a lot of talk about best
Best
games in
home
Tiger
game.
Tiger
Sure.
Stadium history. We left off the 2019 Florida game off the list. A lot of people were like coming at us on that one
Right,
on
and
Twitter.
That wasn't even a situation where like I forgot the game. It was more just like I just didn't think it was in the top 10.
So are we talking about best games just overall, or most significant because of the season, or just like
All together.
All together. Well, then you
Altogether.
got to have the Bluegrass Miracles top 3.
Oh no, it was only
Oh.
home games.
Only home games. Okay. Got you. Yeah. Okay. Did you list 10?
I listed 10.
And you didn't have that game in top 10? Okay, I'm kind of impressed by that now. At least
Okay.
number 10.
Okay, I'll go through just some
So
of
the
the ones
past-
that were ahead that I don't think that game was over these
Okay.
It was 20
two-
years too. It was,
Oh, so,
it
okay.
was
So
since-
it was
Yeah.
a long time. All right.
since 2000.
right. So that was
Right.
yeah.
So okay, it was 2007 Florida. I would
Agree. I was at
never
that game.
put.
I was at that game.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Yep.
You were on a recruiting visit.
No, I was just there because I had tickets as a recruit
Gotcha.
for LSU baseball.
Nice. 2010 Alabama.
Yep.
Let's
That's
see.
better.
2017 Auburn.
Yeah, punt return.
Right.
DJ chart.
Oh,
Yep.
you were there for that one,
Yep.
obviously. Shit. What else? 2007 Auburn.
I knew you weren't gonna be able to do this. Recalling
This
this
is all
list
off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
there's no way you're gonna have to look this up.
2003 Georgia. That was high on there.
Best games
Yeah.
ever.
Oh, well, I lost.
Just
I lost.
I was just going on the
Ah.
list.
Matthew's
Yeah.
breaking things.
Technical
Did I do
difficulties.
something?
Yeah, you did.
There you go, man.
There you
I'm
go.
good.
There you go. Yeah, it's not really breaking.
I
news,
Whoopsie
did
but-
daisy.
not mean to do that.
Yeah.
Here was one. People were mad. This was kind of an old man take. People were mad that I had Ole Miss 2014, number 2 on the list.
Our guy David Food.
That was a fantastic game.
That was a good game.
Here was the
Because it was Ole
blowback.
Miss.
No, because it was Ole Miss, and we also rushed the field in
Oh,
that game.
yeah.
It was
Which
awesome.
is a faux pas. No.
Yeah, we shouldn't have rushed the field.
You don't
That's
ever
true.
rush the field
That's
against
true.
Ole Miss.
Look, it was the first time
Yeah.
I ever got to rush the field. So
Oh,
like,
you
That's
did it.
why he's hung
You
up. He's
did
hung
it.
up.
dude, I was like 15 years old. It was fucking awesome.
Oh,
And I
dude.
was close to the field for the game.
No, you
It was
can't
like
ever
the
do
best
that.
seats I had ever had in my life.
All right,
So
you
just
can't do that.
personally, it
Yeah,
was
that's
just,
I would say that's a personal pick
it
right
was
there,
it was
for
a bit
sure.
of a personal pick for sure. But it was also, you know, I mean, like
you-
game day was there. Ole Miss was number 3 in the country,
That-
undefeated at the
That
time.
was their best season
It was the best season
for
they've had
a long time.
20
yeah,
years.
Ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you
Well,
rush the
not
field in
ever.
2018 against Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I slapped you on the shoulder.
Did you?
Yeah, you probably remember, right?
Yeah, I do. I remember other things too. There was some
Women?
I mean, I'm not
Whoa,
gonna say all
whoa,
that.
come on now.
I mean, you know, drunk people on the field,
Right.
drunk girls doing stupid shit. It's
Devin,
funny.
the intern, says that he ran up to Jake Fromm and told him to go fuck himself or something like that.
That's oh my god.
And then he got like
shouldn't-
the
yeah.
cop like walked towards him and he ran away or
I
something.
remember a bunch of players had like
I don't know if it's true or
gloves
not.
stolen, cleats taken off the field, or helmet was lost. They took the goalpost to Tigerland, and I don't know. There was a lot of weird stuff happening. Somebody took a Gatorade container, dumped it out, and took it with them. Like, what are you gonna make jungle juice later on? Like, what's going on?
They probably
probably
sold it
that.
for thousands.
Yeah, weird. People taking memorabilia. It was like, why?
I never understand when people like they rush the field and they like take a like handful of grass.
We did that. The Florida game. We had
What
never
the
done
fuck
it
are you
before.
gonna do with that?
First of all, and I put it in a Ziploc bag because I had
Where-
a Ziploc
where-
bag. Okay, listen.
Where
to
is
this.
that today?
I had the Ziploc bag down my pants for some
For
some
liquor,
whiskey,
obviously.
and I brought it in and I stuffed the Ziploc bag, and I just so happened to have a Ziploc bag, and I was like, perfect. Grabbed a 50-yard line chunk of turf and
Nice.
threw it in the Ziploc
Like
bag.
Tiger Eye turf or what?
What do you mean Tiger Eye?
Like from the Tiger Eye?
Yes, Tiger Eye. Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. When I were, I think the last game in what was it at Old Alex Box, I took dirt off the field and I still have it in my house.
Dirt?
And a little, yeah,
Oh,
a
wow.
warning track stuff, little
Nice.
whatever.
How did you get on the field for that? This is 2009,
I think I was
right?
no, yeah, it was 2009. I was just on the. I was just sitting on the first row down the third base line or something.
And you jumped onto the
no,
field?
No, you can just reach over,
Yeah.
grab it.
Oh,
big deal.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no big
that
deal.
sounds like
Wait,
vandalism.
we are not
Yeah.
what
encouraging
you're
this, by
talking
the way.
about.
I mean,
It had
it was-
special permission.
it
Special
was- it
permission.
wasn't- It was, and then obviously I went to Omaha too, and I was sleeping behind the center field wall for a night or two. But that was
Not
was
bad.
for the experience. That was a good time. I had a blast doing all that.
What year were
Electric.
you then? Like you were in high school, right?
Yeah. So in Omaha, I just graduated high school, and
So you had just gotten picked
I took
already.
yes, I had. I got a one-way ticket to Omaha from Baton Rouge, and my dad and my brother were actually there for a baseball tournament. I got to stay the first 4 days with them, but I had to rough it the next 9. And taking public transit, like it was
God.
it was rough at first,
Beneath you.
but then no, it wasn't that bad. It was a good time. And once I made some friends, it wasn't a big deal at all. I met some good people in Omaha. That's the other thing. Omaha people love
Oh,
LSU fans.
for
And I was just
sure.
like, I'm here alone. And they're like,
Yeah.
come get
Perfect.
some food. I was like, perfect.
You got to stimulate their economy every 12 months. Yeah,
That's
they love
right.
you.
Yeah, true.
All right, so let's finish this up. We have Florida. That I still think that at LSU is a win
Yeah.
with Emory Jones at quarterback.
I'll say this. I mean, maybe I'm getting too far ahead of my skis here, but
Oh,
I don't think we lose a home game this year.
Okay,
Yeah, I like that. That's a good take.
I,
don't think so.
sort of agree with that.
I think
Yeah.
by this point, we know who LSU is. You know, whether or not we're wrong. I mean, you have 6 games. Like, you know, we know what LSU is going to be, where they're good, where they're bad.
After a Mississippi State, Auburn, Kentucky, Florida run. Yeah, I believe
the identity's there.
I completely agree with that. These are all 4 teams that you should win, especially this year. I just feel like Auburn with Harsin, it's just going to be a little bit of tougher road to get to the point that they want to be at. I don't think they're explosive enough to beat an LSU. And same with Florida. I don't think Florida's going to be explosive enough to beat
Florida's
LSU
not going to
this
try to be explosive. They're going to try to be what they were when they when Mullen was at Mississippi State with Prescott. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't think he's just going to have Emory Jones run the power and the RPO?
So
That's
more like what they had with what was the guy after Prescott?
Fitzpatrick or
More like that.
Fitzgerald, whatever.
Yeah.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
Nick
Nick.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I think they're going to slow it all the way down. They're not going to try to do points. They're going to try to take the ball out of LSU's hand. They're going to try to play defense.
I don't think that'll work this year against LSU.
Probably
I also
not.
don't know what Florida's defense is going to look like this year.
They were pretty bad last year.
Right.
Which ours was too, obviously. But I think that's going to be. Our take, Zach, is that Durante Jones, communicator to the defense this year, is going to be light years different than what it was last year. And we're big believers in Durante Jones. That just is going to, everything is kind of in a good place right now, where last year it was in an awful place this time, exact time last year.
Right.
Yeah, it'll. I mean, we're definitely going to be a better team than we were last year, and Durante. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I do know that the guys are excited about him. And I think again, I love Bo, but it just seemed like we were in a disarray. It just, for whatever reason, we just weren't prepared for every game early, especially early in the season. We had improvement at the end, but it was too little, too late. I mean, except for the Ole Miss game, I guess we gave up 50 points or how many points? It was
40,
a lot,
48. Yeah.
48,
But I mean, shoot,
But we also caused 6-7 turnovers. So
Right.
Well, the turnovers were never a problem at all last year.
right.
We were actually leading the conference in
He came through on
turnover
that end.
ratio.
Did we really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
I mean,
Which
like Mississippi State was our worst game by far. We still caused 4 turnovers.
A lot of people were saying, "Oh, well, look how good we are on turnover ratio," and I would always come back and say,
but look at the points.
Look how bad we would be if we didn't have the turnovers.
All right.
So we needed the turnovers just to be as bad as what we were.
Right. It was like we either gave up a touchdown,
Guys, we're
or
doing it
got
again.
Intercept.
You're
Yeah,
doing
we're
it
so-
again.
oh,
Stop.
The tangents.
Stop talking
Yeah.
about last year. Stop it.
Oh my god.
We're looking at this year.
Oh god.
But no, but and
Okay,
then I
so
guess
Florida, I don't know what to expect from Florida, so I'm just going to call it a win. We're at home. I just don't-
Shocker.
I bet it's low
Honestly,
scoring.
I
to be
just
honest with you.
don't know.
I bet
I
it's a
agree
low-
with
I bet
that.
it's a low scoring game.
I
against
could see
Florida.
that. Sure.
Just because it's going to be the first. I mean, not that Auburn's not a big game, but that's probably going to be a 2:30 game, just because it always is for some reason.
Yeah. Actually, no. There's another big game that week. I was looking. I can't remember who it is, but it's bigger than Auburn LSU. So
Don't believe
that
it.
could be a ESPN.
Okay, so it might be
Well, LSU LSU is the third Saturday in October, so that's got to be Alabama and Tennessee, right?
Who cares?
Well, that means that Florida.
They both.
That means that LSU Florida will probably be at night because
Good.
Alabama Tennessee will be on CBS.
I want Auburn to be a 2:30 game. I don't want to play at night. I mean,
Yeah, that never works out for y'all.
I mean, it doesn't really work out anyways, regardless of kickoff. But.
After that, we got Ole Miss. And that's going to be the one. If I'm looking at this entire schedule, I'm looking at Ole Miss and Alabama. You were just saying that you just don't see us losing to anybody at home, right?
Right. Correct.
If you have a very emotional win, against Florida, that Ole Miss game looks like a trap game.
It's a trap game.
It is
a good point.
Yeah.
So-
And Matt, you said we have to pick where our losses are.
Yes.
I have LSU going 10-2. My 2 losses are Ole Miss, Alabama.
Ooh, God, back to back.
Yeah, well, it's
That's
just
rough going into.
I think Ole
A&M
Miss,
at the
you
end.
get caught in exactly. You're coming off an emotional win, emotional letdown, and then plus look ahead to Alabama. Ole Miss that crowd's going to be rowdy as hell. That's going to be like the biggest game in Oxford since I don't even know when. Probably 2014, that season they had. We were just talking about.
Yeah, they played Auburn, and they were both in the top
That was an
5.
awesome
and
game.
Treadwell got hurt.
That was the week
That's
after they played us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, Treadwell got hurt. I remember that game.
So I have it the exact same way as you do.
You do.
And I didn't want to give Ole Miss the loss, but at the same time, I've been talking about this for a while. Like, okay, I see us going 10-2. I just can't tell you who the second loss is going to be. And I kept saying that on Twitter. Like, obviously we're supposed to say Alabama because that's what we're trained to do at this point. Is to say Alabama is going to be the loss.
They're your dad. You can say it.
Here's the best part: Alabama
guy.
is going to have had
Turn off
played
your
a lot
mic.
of games leading up to this point. They could have because they play
Right.
Georgia or
Florida.
Florida.
At Florida.
They could have had losses by this point. So a lot of it's going to depend on both teams' record leading into that game. So
I agree.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, Bryce Young is still. I mean, from everything that we hear, is that he's supposed to be really, really good. But
his talent's worth $1 million. One might say.
You don't have you don't have Devonta Smith. You have John Michie.
They lost the running back.
That Brian
got that
Brian
kid-
Robinson is their running back.
They got that other wide receiver that Devins says is like the best thing since Julio Jones or something.
I don't remember
which
who his
is
name is.
Devin's not here. Let's just say it. That is a ridiculous take. He had a good spring game. That's it. He's a true freshman. He's not even a COVID freshman. He's a true freshman.
He's not even COVID freshman.
Like,
So I don't know anything about that. But
I forgot his name even.
Ole Miss and Alabama are the two losses that I can see. And if I had to say one loss, obviously it's just going to be Alabama. But
Sure,
y'all are scaring me because if you're saying that, a lot like would it be the 2015 season when we were 7-0 going to Alabama, we lost 3 straight, right?
Right.
That's a very similar situation to what y'all are saying.
I just don't see.
I don't think you lose to Arkansas, but you see what I'm saying. You still play A&M at the bottom there.
I mean, I just don't see it without A&M though.
Yeah.
Like Kellen Mond has
gone.
been there, and they were nothing special with Kellen Mond.
Even though they had one loss last year at Alabama, but yes.
Here's where because you brought up 2015, I thought that's a good point. Because you lost to Bama, you lost to Arkansas, and then you lost to Ole Miss. Yeah. The difference between that and this year is that was less Myles every time after that because he put everything into the Alabama game. And Coach Oak just doesn't do that. At least, I mean, you know more than me.
He did it.
That's just not what it seems like he
Roll
does.
Tide
He did it
what?
in 2018, but
you.
yeah. Perfect. That was perfect.
And I just every time we lose to Alabama so far,
we win the next game.
Yeah, we always come back strong. And there was one time we didn't. I think it was 2018, but we still beat Arkansas.
Yeah,
we still beat them. It was like
2018 was like we were talking about that the other day too because of the post you made with the top 10 games, and people were trying to say they were talking about the 2018
the crowd pregame. Sure, yeah, this is the best pregame I've ever been to in my life.
Me too.
Yeah,
me too. And I've been there for a long time.
Were you at the 2012 game?
Yes,
I wasn't at that one. You think 2018 was better?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people
when they played
that's like
Mo
50-50
Bamba
there.
Yes.
In the crowd.
When the Fajocos came out, they did their haka in front of the whole student
man.
section, dude.
We need to get Braden on, by the way. He has a lot of stories he wants to tell us.
That game was unbelievable. The pregame was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Dude, it was just so hyped up, and you could just tell it was so much energy.
If only that 2019 game would have been 2018, we'd have burned down the stadium. We might have had to rebuild.
Well, did it feel like the 2018 game was just like everybody was so. It just felt like everybody was so hyped that it was just like doomed to fail. So, like everybody was just so like exhausted by the time the game started.
Sure. Yeah. No, literally, I was with Andy, my friend, and he passed out. He got in an hour early. I got in like 3 hours early to make sure I got a seat. And he passes out like an hour before the game starts, and he was like, "Please wake me up when the game starts."
Oh
hey, at least y'all won something, right? You know,
exactly.
We lost the game, but we damn sure won the pregame party.
Oh, dude.
Tailgate ours.
There's never been a
there's
pregame.
The video of Ed Ozeron running down Victory Hill, like, come on, easy.
Yeah,
you got a long ways to go. We got a couple
that
hours
was a bit
left.
much. That was a bit much, maybe. But I
think he learned his lesson.
Last thing about that game that I'll say is there was such a simple play that just we all went nuts for. It was like because we get the stop first drive, they like march to 30 and we get a sack. Tua gets hurt, and we're all like, okay, fuck, Tua's hurt. Like we got a shot here, and then we get the ball. Burrow completes a pass to Foster Morrow for like he doesn't even get the first down. He gets like 8 yards, so it's like 2nd and 2. We go nuts. Just because we completed this 8-yard pass,
and then
rest of the game
to now.
Rest of the game
I'm pretty
was
sure I punted on that drive too.
Crazy. Yeah, you did. I think you punted on every drive.
Well, the reason I say that is because like we were hyped to, oh yeah, we're gonna get a drive going here, and just got stopped like in our tracks. It just seemed like we'd never get anything going in that game. Joe never had time. It was just he was running for his life.
Yeah,
it was
for
crazy.
sure.
Yep.
It's
Dude,
crazy.
talk about never. Is that his last game that he's ever going to be in the under the center? You think for LSU? Like now he's at the Bengals, so he's going to be under the center a little bit more. But I don't think he was ever comfortable that game at all. What was the defensive tackle for Bama that game?
He was a first rounder, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Oh, the
Quinnen
dude with
Williams.
the Jets.
Quinnen Williams.
He
Oh
talks like
my
he's a big old
God.
baby. What did he say?
Dude, he's so good.
Oh gosh.
I remember him doing a swim move on. I think it was Garrett Brunfield or somebody that you were
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah, it
but, like,
was.
just
I
threw
know
him
you're
out of
talking
the like.
He was
out
a
of the way.
freak. I remember that.
That guy.
What is that
He was
video?
an absolute animal.
What was that video of
That
him that
guy's
went
crazy.
viral? He can't pronounce a word. What is it?
Oh, I don't know.
Goodness.
We'll have to. We'll post
look
it
it up.
afterwards. All right. So Ole Miss, and then you got at Alabama.
Oh, what do you think about those two? We didn't even get to what you thought
Which
about
part?
these two games. Ole Miss, Alabama.
Ole Miss can be high scoring again.
Yeah.
Probably 48-35-ish. And it's going to come down to Ole Miss turning the ball over. They're going to turn it over, and they're going to keep up, and then turn over. And I think that's going to be the separator.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing last year where we, if Ole Miss is going to get us, I thought they were going to get us last year. So, like, if they're not going to get us this year, and I'm calling this as one of my losses because I don't have any other loss to give. But that to me that makes you think
You don't have to pick it as a loss.
Well, no, I feel like we're going to go 10-2. Like, I just feel like there's a game that we're going to drop because we're not completely focused, and it's a little bit younger of a team to where that's going to happen. But otherwise, we're 11-1, man. Like,
Yep.
I don't see us going into Bama and beating Bama this year.
Right.
Even though they're a tough, they're not going to be as.
Yeah, they're not as stout as they used to be for sure. They're not Alabama they're not 2020 Alabama.
I've said that
Right.
to myself so many times as
But
an
they're
Auburn
not.
fan.
Okay,
They're
I think they're.
I hope
at
you're right.
least
I hope
gonna
you're
go
right.
back to like 2016 Alabama,
You gotta remember
which like
2019,
still
you
went
had
to a
3
national
losses.
championship. But
2019 had 3 losses. That was 2 years ago.
I'd love it. Can't wait.
I mean that was because Tua got hurt.
Yeah, that's true. This is true. But Bryce is completely unproven. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
they
supposed to be.
They had 3 losses. No, they didn't. They had
Yeah,
2
they did.
losses.
No, they lost 3. They lost the bowl. No, you're right. They
lost-
won the bowl. No, they lost to Auburn.
Auburn,
Lost to
LSU. That's
LSU.
right.
I could have sworn they won. Maybe it was 2.
No, it was 2.
And then they blow the brakes off of Michigan.
Yeah, they went
yeah,
11-2.
Oh, I
Yeah.
won so much money on that game. Oh my god! All right, so after that, we have all Arkansas, ULM, and A&M. So A&M obviously is going to be the one that we're going to be talking about right here, right?
Yeah.
I just don't give any kind of cred to Jimbo Fisher and A&M right now.
Yeah. and
You
then-
give none to Jimbo?
I have Jimbo. I have A&M 4th in the division this year under Ole Miss.
I'll do the opposite. I'll give them credit because then they had the highest or second highest finish ever in like the end of season rankings because they were 11-1 or 10.
Yeah.
They
10-1.
finished 4th in the
4th
country.
overall in the country.
Yeah.
So you
Last
got to
year
give
you're
them
talking
credit.
about.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
you got to give them credit somewhat, but I agree.
I think
It's
their
gonna be-
schedule.
It's not a good schedule.
Well, I think they have a.
They play Alabama early, or well,
They always play them early.
Yeah, but they have
Or-
no tough non-conference games. They
That's
have
true.
Colorado as their toughest
yeah,
non-conference.
that's nothing.
And then Alabama, there's nobody in the East that they're tied up against this year. Like they had Georgia one year, and they got
It was a close
basically
game.
yeah, but Georgia just put their thumb
Yeah.
on them
Yeah, I
the whole
remember
time.
we watched that together actually.
But I just don't see Texas A&M with the firepower to try to keep up with some of these teams like Ole Miss, LSU.
I just don't know what to
Alabama.
expect from Haynes King. That's my only thing.
Well, I
We'll
mean,
find out against Alabama like week 2 or 3.
Very,
I
very
mean,
good
do you
point.
expect more from Kellen Mond than Haynes King?
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea what to expect from him. I've heard, like, it sounds like A&M fans are like, yeah, I think he'll be all right. Like, and that's from them. They're biased.
There's something about the Jimbo Fisher offense that came in here. It's too pro style. It's not open
Right.
enough.
It's still very.
They have good running backs. They have a good offensive line, and they have good defensive line. Other than that, I'm not seeing like explosiveness
No,
out of
it's-
them enough to where they're going to be able to score with people.
He
They have
never
like the fastest
has
running
been
back in the
explosive.
country.
Yeah, Isaiah Spiller.
No, different
Oh,
guy.
Different guy.
They got another guy. That's not Spiller. Like Spiller's like scat back or whatever.
Okay.
Nothing. By the way,
Huh.
Quentin Williams said he
Three
sneezed.
dumbfounded
He
looks.
says, "Bless you and thank you." That was a viral video I was talking about.
Okay.
So yeah.
So okay.
While y'all were talking about football, I was busy.
Nice.
All right, so A&M here is another thing where I feel like we're never going to sleepwalk
we ball
on
now.
A&M, especially here. I feel like this is where I think there's still a 7 overtime feeling in the locker room.
And the amount of smack talk and the making of cups and all the trash talk that was involved after that game. Yeah, it'll always be a chip on Coach O's shoulder, especially when you have 3 instances.
Was that brought up?
Not really, but I mean, they have such a fan base that loves to have all that in your face type stuff. Which is why they probably have the little brother. I mean, their fight song has Texas in it. They need to remove. They should have done a couple years ago the opportunity to remove Texas out their fight song when they moved to the SEC because they stopped playing Texas every year. But for some reason, they decided not to, and now that just gives you the little brother vibe parentally for Texas A&M. But no, I don't see us dropping that game at all. No.
Do you ever go on Tiger droppings?
I did the first time this season, but I forgot what it was for. It was something for because I honestly the only time I did it before was when I was in high school because I wanted to know who else like baseball recruiting stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But since that I had not. I think I created an account in like 2007 and never went on it. I think I forgot everything from it. But
He's probably Tiger Ree.
I did get hazed by not hazed, but I lost a fantasy baseball league, and part of the punishment was they created a fake ZVR account on Tiger Droppings.
Nice.
And I actually had the login. They sent it to me. They didn't really say a whole lot on there because they're like, we don't know what to say. Because it would have been more fun if we did well in 2020, but it was a 500 season. And they probably would have given me a lot more smack talk, but like it just wasn't as fun because we weren't playing well. But they created that account as like my what's the punishment for finishing last? But I didn't check the league and I forgot I was even in it. But that was my punishment, and it was funny. I'll try to find the account on there. I think it was a ZVR09. My Twitter handle.
I think you need to post the next. Hey, I'm Zach Von Rosenberg. Here is the latest episode of One Team One Podcast that I was a part of. That's the only way it won't get deleted off of Tiger Droppings. Probably
if I posted
if you posted
really?
it, they're like, "Oh my god, you're the best!"
I gotta find my
You need to
ZVR
put under
login.
that like better than pot of gold. That's what everybody always says on
Oh
there.
yeah, they're like, "Oh god."
Every
Yeah.
time we get mentioned,
Every time, and
there's
I'm
like this
like,
weird
don't
debate.
even tell me anything that happens on Tiger Droppings. I don't even want to know. I'm gonna lose my shit.
There's some weirdos on there, man.
Okay.
A&M's got a track star. Devin Akane is his name.
Devin Akane.
Yeah, Achane. I don't know how to pronounce that. But
Speaking
his first
of-
name's Devin. His last name starts with an A. He's a
For
track
who?
star. A&M.
Huh.
He's a tailback they have.
What do you think about
electric?
Derek Stingley getting some offensive snaps this year?
If I'm Stingley, I don't do it.
Yeah,
I just don't. You're going to be the top DB taken in the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see.
I seen him in high school.
So I mean, I know he's a front. I mean, I've seen him practice messing around. But
I mean,
financially,
is it good enough to like?
oh my God, he'd be all ACC wide receiver, 100%. He'd be an all SEC wide receiver.
Okay.
yeah. I mean that's not surprising.
So well,
you got to remember, if you're a DB, you're running the route. You're just running the route with the wide receiver.
This, but what I was thinking of was when Trenton Holiday would run some offensive plays, and when they put him in the game, it was so obvious that Trenton Holiday was about to get the ball in that package that everybody would just gear up for it on defense. And it wasn't really a good package. It was just a wasted play at that point. It was like, man, all we're trying to do is get Trenton in space. But I just don't want to see them do the same thing where it takes away from the flow of the offense because they're trying to set up this package that's forced for Derek Stingley.
And the other thing, I don't know if Derek asked to be put on offense. He very well could have. That may be something just to like you said, get a guy that's athletic in space.
Yeah.
Because he is so electric on punt return, and getting a guy like that without more opportunities would be
But
valuable
all
in our
SEC.
offense. Oh my God, 100. He's all SEC DB, and he would be if he dedicated all his time to being a wide receiver, he would be an all SEC wide receiver. And he'll tell you that. If you got him on the show, he'd tell you that.
But you beat him in a pass in practice.
I did at practice, but that's not a game. Game's a little different with a pass rush, and it's a little yeah, exactly. It's a little bit different.
If you were on the team right now, would you be the second string quarterback
over Garrett Nussmeier? No.
Yes.
No way. Garrett's good. Garrett's
now,
good.
all right. So Garrett is good. I know he is. He's super confident as well. We posted that too. It was like Garrett is, to me, he's the most confident second string quarterback in college football. Would you say that? Like, he's got, I'm sure he's got a lot of guys that are behind him.
And I mean, everybody's gonna be confident. If you're a quarterback in the SEC, you have to be confident. I don't like to put a title, the most confident. Did he actually quote himself? Is that quoted or something?
No,
okay.
That was me quoting.
I got you. But no, I mean, he has every right to be, and he's been training his whole life for this. He plans on being an NFL quarterback, and he's in the right fit, in my opinion. And obviously, with his dad coaching him up his whole life, I see him being, a guy. I just don't know when that time will come because we got Max Johnson right now, but we're loaded at quarterback, and we'd be even more loaded if we had TJ Finley.
Yeah,
but
what kind of a difference is that though? Is having two quarterbacks with two dads that were NFL players?
It makes a difference because of in terms of the pathway to getting to the NFL, or in my case, it'd be Major League Baseball. When you have a guy like that to tell you exactly how it's done, you can say, well, I literally did this.
Yeah.
I did XYZ to get these results, to win a Super Bowl, to be an All-Pro. And so there's the blueprints there because your dad lived it.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of an edge for any player. That's why you see the Mannings are not going to have their sons coming up, and I guarantee you they're going to play in the NFL because they have the blueprint from their parents, from Peyton, Eli, and what's the other one's name? Shoot, I forgot his name. Cooper. The blueprint's there. I mean, Cooper didn't play in the NFL, but he has uncles that did. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it makes it so much easier because you know exactly what you're doing. Got somebody else to the NFL, and obviously Archie too. He's the dynasty of all. He created all this,
right?
But
his sperm did.
Yes,
his
exactly.
seed. I was going to say
his seed.
I hope that we can keep one of them at LSU, but we'll see.
I heard Archie going to Auburn.
Really?
Yeah,
you're just saying that because you're
because you just like
he's going to Texas.
That's from my brain.
I think he'll end up at Ole Miss.
Really?
Yeah, Lane Train. Eli,
that would be
Archie
fun,
both went there.
That would be.
I think it would be fun.
Just follow right behind Myles Brennan.
Arch to Ole Miss, and then Myles to Mississippi State.
Nice.
We keep going back to Myles. Myles, if you're listening, I'm sorry. We're just spitballing.
Myles, come on now. Hey, you know what we want is we want Myles to come on. We've been asking for this for over a year now. We're gonna have a weight scale here, and we want Myles to get on the scale live on a live stream.
Does it even mean anything?
It doesn't
anymore?
mean as much now as it did then.
Right.
But yeah, we want to see how much he really weighs.
As long as you do it, as long as you do it first, Matt.
Like I don't want that. I don't want LSU telling me how much he weighs anymore. But I want to know.
Right.
And it can't be with a cast, right? You can't have plaster on his arm.
No, he's got to take that shit off.
You just subtract 2 pounds.
Yeah, right. Okay, so real quick, LSU predictions.
Okay,
officially
10-2.
10-2.
11-1.
11-1. 10-2.
10-2. You lose 2 of the 4: Auburn, Florida, Alabama, A&M.
No, that's too
10-2. 10-2.
Pick 2 teams.
Pick 2 teams: Auburn and Alabama.
William. 10-2 for William as well.
Teams.
So I took the.
You
went 11-1.
11-1. 11-1 is where my heart
William
is.
says we lose to Alabama.
Can I change mine?
Alabama and A&M.
8-4.
Oh, come on.
8-4. 8-4.
That's coming from a true Auburn fan.
Yeah, 8-4. Everybody, I can't do this.
You think Auburn's going to beat us and then it's just going to roll?
Turn your mic down.
Yeah, 8-4.
All right.
Okay.
Jude. Well, Jude's not at the camera, so don't worry about him. So we'll get it from Jude later. So we'll post those out, and we'll post our SEC predictions as well. But all right, big appreciation over to Jude. You there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. So what's your? Sam is laughing so hard. All right, what is your LSU schedule predictions. What's your record for LSU this year?
10-2 with a loss to Alabama and Mississippi State.
All right, turn him off real quick.
State.
Turn him off. Okay, Mississippi State. That excludes you.
He grew up
from-
in Stark Vegas.
Yeah,
for the record.
I don't appreciate any of that. If you're joking around, Jude, I think you need to apologize. Just text me later about it.
What a horrible take.
I know. Mississippi
Jesus.
State.
I'm a laugh when he's exactly right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. Okay, so we appreciate Zach Von Rosenberg for joining us tonight. Big shout out to One Team Media. We've been doing a lot of things with One Team Media. We have our new website at oneteammedia.com. So go check that out. We have all of our podcasts listed under One Team Media. And we have some of our school Twitter accounts up and running. So far, I think we have Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, and LSU all taken up. So you're going to start seeing some One Team Media accounts. Also, One Team Betting is getting back in the game a little bit.
Sir.
So yeah, check this guy out over here. We're gonna do some. We'll have some betting shows coming up closer to football season, and also we're gonna have the Durante Jones Bourbon Club coming back for football season. We're gonna be live at Hayride Scandal once a week. And we're gonna get I don't know if it's gonna be you or if you wanted to do Chris.
Wow.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Wow.
Bourbon Club. I mean, you're not even drinking bourbon. You're drinking a Mai Tai right now. So
I have a 6-page paper.
no,
right
it's going to
after
be
this.
me and Zach Von Rosenberg. I forgot to tell you that.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'm okay with that.
yeah, we're going to be at Hayride Scandal once a week. We're trying to get that sponsor right now. We'll have some equipment over there. So lots of things happening with One Team Media. So go check them out on Twitter and also check out our YouTube page, One Team One Podcast. It's got all of our podcasts under there as well. So Radius Podcast, y'all just did one the other night,
Yes,
right?
sir, we did. We're going to record another tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Wow, that's
we're actually getting on a schedule. Look at us.
That is big time.
And that,
Big time. Yeah. And we're gonna have William and Steven are gonna be doing a lot of videos for me soon. He texted me the other day.
Better.
So
better.
Yeah. So look for some SEC previews from maybe some Alabama fans coming up here soon. So lots of things happening. So we appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. We appreciate everybody that's following us as well. Appreciate Zach for coming in to the Courtesy Automotive Group studio. Big timing over here. So we will talk to you guys next week. It's been One Team, One Podcast.
Logan out.